Yeah, I regret nothing. I'm cool with all of that. But also, I was really stressed out afterwards, got a lot of hate, had like tons of people dogpiling me and talking about me afterwards. That hurt, and I was like really upset about it. But I would go back and do it again.
All right. Now for the main event. Damn, this is 3 hours. We are almost definitely not going to get through a lot of this, but yeah, we'll see.
Stardust. We're gonna take a quick look at Stardust, but I have a bunch of other allegations that we need to go through, okay? Yeah. Is that it for the stream? No, no, we're not even, no, absolutely not, no, Jesus. Listen, we're gonna do a bashing of Stardust as a palate cleanser, okay, as a palate cleanser. Escaping until she says, okay, all right, she's speaking.
Nothing faker than saying, hey, if you keep doing this optic suicide, I have no choice but to distance myself, and then distancing when they continue. Yeah, exactly. Imagine calling me, a fucking fake. Are you fucking kidding me?
All I'm gonna say about this is that I feel as though, right, at least during the, even during the November drama, I will say this much, because it's kind of ironic, that she covered, like, she kind of covered for me, like, she kind of sweeped for me, right? As in, like, sweeped the whole entire November drama under the rug for me, right? But, like, how could you be saying this when she's, like, DMing me in private when we're, like, both farming off of drama? And, like, she's the one that's pretending to be dumb a lot of the time whenever it comes to, like, farming drama. Makes no sense. But also another thing is that, like, the bridge is burned, and then you just went on now recording to bash me. Like, who exactly is it? Who exactly that's struck first? Like, who exactly is it that struck first? I think I'm perfectly fine going this hard. Yeah. Also, again, is this what effort streaming looks like? Where she is just like, where she is just like not really.
Okay, hold on. Why did they burn the bridge? I'm lost here. Why was the bridge burned? Even because what Foodshops is saying here, I like none of it makes sense. She's saying when they're talking about drama farming, Stardust is the one who's acting stupid or is acting naive. Like, why? What did that have to do with anything? I'm so lost. They didn't until yesterday. Foodshops just said the bridge was burned, and then she went on to something to just talk shit about her. She's saying that the bridge was already burned. Long story short, Star defended Food without proper knowledge or consent from Food. Food acted like Food. Star got mad that Food acted like Food. Star shat on Food on stream. Hello?
Hey, so I thought this would probably be like the easiest way to explain it. Sorry, I just need to mute the stream. So essentially what happened was that, you know, do you remember the whole like food shops thing when she went on like Chud's panel, and then she went on following that she was on like Reservir's stream? Did you see any of that? And it was sort of like it was like the lolicon debate V1, and then it sort of like fell down into like her being like interrogated by Reservir's stream. I thought it didn't go really well for her. Did you by chance see any of that, Tom?
Hold on. You're talking about more recently or the ones that happened months ago?
I'm not sure if it was necessarily like months, but it was like 3-4 weeks ago. It's not the least.
Okay, because yeah, the Foodshops like lolly drama happened like 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago, but then the Chud panel happened like in the Resi stream and all of that. Yeah, it happened like 3-4 months ago, but then the Chud panel happened yeah, just like maybe a month ago.
I mean, I'm not exactly sure on the time. It could be a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, but essentially around that time, Foodshops jumped on, you know, Stardust defended, you know, Foodshops pretty heavily, you know. Well, she came to her, like, she helped her out by like arguing against sort of like this Wick, I think, had a bias where he was like, Wick sort of treated food shops poorly. He didn't invite her onto a panel when they were talking about food shops.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I also said that, yeah, I thought what Wick did was pretty messed up, but yeah.
Yeah, and then sort of like, and off the back of that, there was like there was a stream with Connor as well, where like Stardust essentially sort of held Connor's like feet to the fire, like, hey, why are you going so hard with on food shops rather than on Vorshit, like,
on Vosh.
It's an inconsistency. And Stardust felt like she just like, I think this is, I don't know what she felt. I think this is broad strokes what it is. Stardust felt like she really helped food shops along and sort of change the narrative around food shops, because like, it was sort of like there was a lot of drama and controversy surrounding food shops, and so that's what happened. And essentially, like, it then sort of like food shops jumped on all these panels, and it just devolved straight back into the lolicon stuff. And I think Stardust is like, look, I've told you before, I don't want to be associated with this. Why are you sort of like bringing this up still? You said you'd move away from it. And food shops, was like, well, I'm kind of like this now. And, I'm okay. I'm happy where I am. I brought this up. Food shops essentially said, this is what I'm going to continue doing. And Stardust said, okay, well, I don't want to be a part of that. So I'm going to have to disassociate. Or it's going to get a little bit, if you watch the stream for long enough, it sort of gets a little bit, I think Stardust still liked her as a person. And she just was sort of like, well, I'm going to have to sort of like distance myself away from your content. I think sort of like in retrospect, that's how she saw it. But that's the very broad strokes of what happened.
Okay, so that happened before this.
I think it happened. Yeah, this happened before this. It was just after like the Reservoir stream, I think.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know what Reservoir stream. I all I know is about the one that happened initially when, like, he first talked to her about the lolly stuff. Then we had a panel on my stream where we all kind of talked about it. Then Food Shops came on, and we had like the discussion about it. And and then Zonia talked to Food Shops a couple days later about it, and then that was kind of the end of that. And then then the like lolly discourse popped back up with Chud, obviously.
Yeah, it was just after the Chud thing. Yeah, that was basically it was.
And so what happened on Rezzie's stream?
I think so on Rezzie's stream, it was like Reservoir was he was talking to Food Shops about sort of like the lolicon stuff, and he a lot of people in his chat, he was sort of like trying to sort of talk her out of like sort of like her publicly. I don't know how. I don't want to sort of like. It's been such a while since I've seen it, but like broad strokes, he was like sort of, I think he was a little bit, he didn't like what Food Shops are sort of putting out there. And a lot of his viewers had like even bigger problems. So he brought on some of his like regular viewers onto it, and they just started hammering Food Shops on like, basically everything to do with the lolly content. And from what I remember of it, she came off a little poorly from that particular stream. And so it was just like, she was called like, I think it was in Chud's panel. She was called like lowercase p, and it just wasn't a good look.
I mean, from what I heard, that the Chud panel, that she did fairly well there, that not like her specifically, but because she was on the lolly side, that there were a bunch of other people on there who were also on the lolly side and ended up making like really good arguments and really good cases for it. And the people who were super anti-lolly came off super unhinged. And like we covered some of that panel here, and it just the people who were these like hardcore anti-lolly, like calling everybody pedophiles people, just came off like children. Like they couldn't explain their ideas. They couldn't argue at all. And then Lonerbox did a good job at arguing.
Exposing Tom and reading his leaked texts on stream right now.
I think though there is a difference between like, hey, functionally, someone arguing for the idea of someone than someone saying like, hey, I view this is sort of like, this is sort of what I'm into. I think those are like someone arguing from, we probably should treat, well, we're getting a little bit too far into it, but I think that like, I don't think you can, I just don't think you could, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a very good position to be in to sort of say, this is what I'm into publicly and sort of like face up to that scrutiny, especially when it's controversial, the issue at hand. I mean, regardless of what you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry.
Well, no, I'm just trying to think. Because throughout the like food shop stuff, like for the most part, I was saying like, yeah, to keep harping on like the optics and shit, I just felt like was gay as fuck, and
yeah,
that's like the same shit that obviously happened with me is people over and over like, but Tom, the fucking optics. Like, have you guys met me? What the fuck? Like, how is this? We're just now meeting. What is going on? So yeah, so like but at the same time, I also gave food shops like the same advice, saying like, hey, probably best to lay off this sort of thing, and that there's when the optics are like a red flag that make people almost like scared of you, that yeah, it probably is a good idea. But also, like, I don't know if I don't think I've like talked about this before, but I had a bunch of people who were saying shit like
look at his guilty conscience. Dumber 2.0.
That I was getting a bunch of DMs from people saying shit like, why is food shops still allowed in chat? Like, why do you still rate her? Why is she still in the Discord? Like, this is a problem, man. You need to think about this. And I'm like, I like, why? What the fuck? Like, just, you're an adult. You're not a kid, so you shouldn't worry about it. There's no kids in the fucking Discord. So like, yeah, but it makes people uncomfortable. Like that, yeah, okay. Like that's, so do I. Like, but I don't know what to tell you, buddy. And so yeah, like I kind of have like mixed feelings on this, where like I guess
I can sort of see like the parallels that you're sort of drawing here, but I mean, like, I feel as if, I don't know, it's like it is sort of like, it sort of comes off, people's views on this are very sort of, there's one thing in the world that like most people agree on, and that's, pedophiles are bad, and they'll stick people on pikes for this kind of thing. And I feel as if this is associated with that. Now, to what degree you can argue, and it doesn't particularly matter. But
yeah, but the problem is
but the end. Let me get this last bit out.
Okay.
The last bit is like, and to sort of like say, well, I feel like Star's position in all this is like, I just don't want to be associated with that. And so I can sort of get that. That's sort of like my sort of take on it, at least. But sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I also food shops, I think, posted in my Discord one day saying he saying that she was a pedophile, or she's like, yeah, I am a pedophile, and it seems pretty obvious that she's just trying to like own the meme, that like we went over the drama, we went over the details of it, we went over everything that was said. Seemed like everybody agreed, like, yeah, it's not like a pedophile, but these are like things that people would call a red flag. And so obviously it from other people's perspective, they may not want to associate with somebody who's saying, yes, I'm a pedophile. But also, and this is something that I said at the time during the drama, is I kind of have a problem with a lot of people being very like out in the open to be like, I don't know, edgy or cool or progressive or whatever the fuck. Like, we don't want to stigmatize pedophiles. We want to stigmatize the action. We don't want to stigmatize the person. We want to stigmatize them doing the thing. And then as soon as there's something like Lolly or something, they all freak out. What the fuck? This is disgusting. Why? How could you do this? We can't associate with a pedophile. We can't associate with somebody who does this. I'm like, why? What happened? Like, am I the only one who actually means this when I say like that I wouldn't stigmatize a pedophile, and that I would like it's the actions that we would stigmatize, not the person? And are we like are we all just like, is that just a fucking meme for the rest of you guys? Do you guys all like have meetings saying like, hey, we don't really mean this shit, we're just kind of fucking around when we say this? So like, what, am I the only one kind of left out of what's going on here? But yeah, it's kind of how I feel. I feel like it just turned out to be a massive virtue signal from everybody, and when it was actually tested, nobody actually believed that shit, and they all kind of backed off it pretty quickly.
I think sort of like there is a great sort of like deal of confusion around sort of where the line is drawn with this whole thing. You know, I guess for me it's sort of like, I agree with you. Like people, I don't think people have like fully made up their minds as to like what that particular relationship is, or like or where they're handling this. And a lot of people, you're right, are just want to persecute other people and have a fun time doing that online.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I don't know. It's like, it's how much like Foodshops is running around sticking her foot in the mouth saying, well, I am a PDF file, whatever. It's just like, she didn't mean it, she said it. It's very sort of like,
Read Red Bar report on Tom.
how many times
Worse
you put
than
your foot in
Boschly,
your mouth?
baby.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do hear what you're saying. It's, I'll tell you what. I'll jump out here right now. Thanks, Tom.
All right.
Hope that cleared up things up for you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Daniel Patrick, for the donos. Appreciate it. Okay, so that's the context going into it. Is obviously like there were a ton of people. If you guys remember, during the panel, Foodshops initially came out with her thing saying like, "Hey, yes, I watch Lolly. Yes, I have these attractions. Blah blah blah." And then we had the panel, and we all kind of talked about it. There were some arguments there where, and I think I said that on the panel, is, guys, I'm a little confused here. I feel like we've all said that we're not like stigmatizing the mental illness or the pedophilia, but we're stigmatizing like actions like child molestation. Like those are the things that we want to stigmatize, right? Like we've all said this for a long time. Like what's going on? And we did. I ended up arguing with those people a lot about a lot of that stuff. And I could be wrong. Again, like when I say we said these things, I know a ton of people said this. So I could be wrong about who specifically said these things.
Leaders gonna leaker FRFR no cap on a stack my G slightly smiling face.
Leaders gonna leaker. True. True.
This freak is panicking. Exposed.
But yeah, the oh shit, I switched my screen. But yeah, I don't know who all was saying it. I don't know who all said, yeah, stigmatize this, not that. I don't know who all was saying this, but I could be wrong. I'm fairly certain Stardust was one of those people. And so even if we say, okay, it seems fairly obvious that Foodshops is just owning the meme. People are going to call her a pedophile one way or the other. So she's just going to, yeah, sure, I am a pedophile, giga chat it, whatever. Even if we say, yes, she is just owning the meme, and this is something that lots of people might want to separate from, you're like, yeah, I feel like you just are doing the thing that you said that you wouldn't do. And then on the panel, I feel like a lot of us agreed that, like, yes, I asked everybody, I said, hey, do you think you're going to separate from Foodshops? I gave each and every person a chance to answer. Are you going to disassociate with Foodshops over this? And almost all of them said no. But a lot, I think me, Stardust, and maybe it was Lauren De Laguna, we answered and said, I don't know yet. I need to ask some questions. I need a bit more information. And I felt like we got all of those answers pretty quickly after. And yeah, I don't know. It's just that optics to me is just always a weird fucking thing for people to make a big deal about. But all right.
Doing anything and just like letting my stream play? Really? Like, at least put some effort into your content creation. Motherfucking 30 watching now while I have 46 concurrent viewers. Yeah.
No one cares about her, so now she's attacking people that were defending her. Yeah, it's fucked up, dude. Like, it's super fucked up. Like, why the fuck did I do anything? You're gonna call me fucking fake. Who called you fake? Star Foodshops, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, after you went on Now Recording to bash me, Jesus. With Reservoir and, God, what's that person's name? Sulfur, no less. The dregs of Twitch Poll. Cool,
So I'm gonna start this off. I'm gonna start this off with a
I'm assuming Food Shops made fun of her for saying too much. Is that, did she make fun of her for too many ums and uhs?
images, right? I thought
This
that
has
would be at least
nothing
to
a
do
bare
with that.
minimum. I feel like that would
This
be a
has
bare
nothing to do
minimum
with
in a
that. I don't know
friendship.
why you're saying this. It has nothing to do with
What do
that.
you mean it
I
has
don't know
nothing to
why
do with
you're
it?
bringing this out of nowhere.
What do you mean it has nothing to do
No,
with
I'll
it?
tell you very simply. I'll tell you very simply, okay? You doing these debates was awesome, right? Yes. However, if it really is so important that you went on there because it was a violation of your own principles, you don't get to use that later on as a weapon against me.
Yes, I do.
Especially in a
Absolutely
later
do.
separate
Because I
scenario.
didn't.
We can't say through the whole thing. We have to skip to her talking and shit. Now take note that I used to be part of this space, okay? So who is a friend of the stream will ever meet ever? Stardust. Also, I just want to say, okay, I have better fashion sense than Stardust, okay? She just hops on, does her makeup, puts on a sweater, all right? Just want to say, right? Who, sorry, I just want to be a little, vain, okay? I just want to be a little vain. Max again, what is her position exactly? Is she the Food Shops defender or is she done?
It's not really vain. That's just petty.
She's done. And has she's done essentially just talk smack about me on recording. Wait, Pork Chop, aren't you a mod? Aren't you a mod for Stardust, or are you not? Whose allegiance are you now? Who knows? You don't know in the commentary committee now. And finally,
Bro, I talk smack to your face. Like, it's not. I told you. I laid out that if you keep doing this, I can't be associated with you, and I can't.
That one time, okay, it's not smack per se. Right?
I didn't hear what Food Shops said. It's the volume's all over the place, and Food Shops is on top of herself. Stardust is reviewing Food Shops. That's why there's two bars here. And Food Shops is under Food Shops. She put her camera on top of herself. So now we can't see her, nor can we hear her.
Aren't you a mod for Stardust, or are you not? Whose allegiance are you now? Who knows? You don't know in the commentary committee now. And finally,
Bro, I talk smack to your face. Like, it's not. I told you. I laid out that if you keep doing this, I can't be associated with you, and I can't.
That one time, okay, it's not smack per se, right? That is more like criticism. And here's the thing, all right? I will actually challenge her on this. I will allow her to, okay? You can leak the logs, all right? You can leak the logs, all right?
Yeah,
Perfectly
I wouldn't call
fine
that talking
with
smack.
Stardust leaking the logs in this instance. Like, I just don't really care. Like, the thing is, okay, is that, like, if you're going to be saying all these things at this point, all right, since the bridge is like this burned, you might as well just leak the logs, right? It's like, who cares anymore?
Defend you.
But,
I got you 2 fucking W's. Why the fuck? Like,
okay, 2 fucking W's or W's for yourself, like, as well, right? Also, like, doesn't it seem kind of disingenuous that you were, like, just defending me and all of this position and having all these positions, and then going on Now Recording afterwards and then saying, like, it's all like, oh my god, yeah, Food Shops is so inconsiderate and a bitch, all right? I just want to say, like, in case any of you guys think that this is, like, disproportional, Stardust called me a bitch on Now Recording. I don't even call Stardust a bitch.
What is Now Recording? She said this like 3 or 4 times. Is it a podcast? Is it a show? She said that Resi and Sulfur were also on there.
I don't even call her a bitch. I don't even do that. All right?
yeah, of course. Now Recording asked me some questions about it. I'm going to answer truthfully.
Like, this is some cry bowling right here. Okay.
Like,
Hello,
took the
Lumo.
serious amazing.
The podcast.
A little late. The women were late, right? That's just it's okay to be late. It is 2008. Oh, but fucking good today. So
we asked about the video partner. They have it. You got a thing for feet say fuck.
They were talking about a subject that and pre
Further than usually is. I wanted to use.
See, this is again, all right. She won't take what I'm saying seriously, but I'll say it anyway. All right. Why the fuck?
Who's
Why the fuck
Tommy?
are you wondering that your streaming career is failing and you're being so like fucking irrelevant to the point where like I'm pulling more like concurrent viewers than you on most nights at this point, right? Like, why are you wondering that? And then just sitting here watching me play like this fucking like game in the corner and like actually providing meaningful commentary like in this exact stream while she is just sitting there in the corner like looking like some kind of mid-age wine mom who just had her husband divorced from her, right? Like, why are you the one, all right, to really give me any kind of critique or anything, right? When you're just this much of a failure of a streamer, all right? When you're this much of a
Tommy C. I don't know who that is. Wait, hold on. Tommy C sounds familiar. Is that the Mama? That was the guy who had the back and forth with Mama Max in some of the videos that we watched about Mama Max, right? He has like he looks like he's sitting in an arcade, right? Yes? Okay.
pathetic little human being, all right? Now, why?
Yeah, he seems cool. I like
to
him.
explain why I do elder girls stuff.
Like, how could you just be sitting there, all right, leeching off of my content like this, okay? Just motherfucking sitting
Unless he doesn't like me, then I hate his fucking guts. Then he's a piece of shit.
here, all right? Like a little leech. You aren't even a human being anymore. You're subhuman. Worm?
Imagine for a minute that you live as a neighbor in a neighborhood, and down the road you have a friend whose name is Molly. And Molly has a beautiful house. It's a unique little house. She spent years painting it.
Okay, wait. I just got clarified. Okay. Who made this? Who the fuck made this? Where did this come from? Alright. Thanks. Okay.
She's painted little birds in the bathroom. She has special doorknobs. She has a garden that she's pruned for years. Cherry trees, the works. Martha
What's
wants
the
to sell
story?
her house. But Martha's trying to sell her house. She has two people that she
We're gonna skip forward because apparently she just muted like the majority of the time.
are into they
Is it the Olympics?
half on this one.
I'm very whatever for the extremes. Right off the bat, gang, we're gonna open this up. Go ahead if you got thoughts.
I
am
If you
very-
have whatever reason to raise your hand.
Look, I'm just saying I'm there and content, you know. Do I remember this? Combo from before. You might have watched it from last night. Oh, Overlord Clyde, thank you for the resubscribe. Very much appreciated. Also, hi, Convoy. I hope you're doing well. I'm just watching Foodshops, apparently.
Naptown, I see you right there, okay? All right, I'm not saying I'm gonna leak the chat log. I'm saying she feels free to leak them, okay? I'm not saying for me, okay? She's not important enough for me to leak any logs of her, okay? I don't give a single flying fuck about it, all right?
Be mad at me or whatever. So we just started watching later. You didn't miss anything yet.
Only reason that we think that we are not more.
I'll say this much, okay? So part of the problem of, you know, panels like these is because you have a hard time discerning because they're,
Not being mixed, but to be criticizing.
unfortunately,
Wait a minute. Streaming is performing, and you do have to amplify certain aspects of your personality. I might not be a full-on man-hater, but I absolutely believed in the stats that I was citing. You know, the stats that I was citing were real. The problems I was talking about were real.
I'm gonna say this right now. Part of the problem is like the discrepancy, right? There's this kind of discrepancy where you present yourself a certain way, you know, as well, right? Off the panel, like this, and then on the panel, you act like something different, as if you aren't entirely putting in your full effort. Just sitting there, all right? Just sitting there. You're not putting in your full effort, but apparently now in the panel, you're pulling more of your weight. That is also more of the discrepancy. I'll admit there is a difference between me offline and somebody online and, like, putting on a stream, right? Obviously. Stardust says she dares you to leave. Nice, good one. Shall just challenge to a blood sports debate?
You know, like,
I'm just gonna say this right now, Naptown. Your credibility is at a 0 right now, okay? Your credibility is less than 0. In fact, one might even say -0, all right? So, you know, until we get there.
yeah, it's just crazy. Like, yeah, I don't hate men, but those problems for women are very real.
I have to
Who'd she say that to? Naptown? I don't know who that
say
is.
that Stardust is a part of this group. Just mainly because that she goes out of her way to kind of exaggerate her character, right? However, after the panel's over, if she is losing, she will say, okay, I was just, you know, playing it up. I was just playing it up for the stream, okay? I was just playing it up for everybody else. Okay? Wait. I'll say this much. Hold on. I'll say this much. Naptown, I literally see you there in the fucking side chat. Like literally just contradicting yourself in real time. You are so cringe. Shut the fuck up, okay? Okay, I'm timing you out, okay?
That's not true. That's not true at all.
Now, but if she's winning, I bet she would go out of her way to say, you actually have the audacity. You actually have the audacity to contradict yourself in real time. It is actually so fucking funny, to be fair. Okay. Oh, yeah, that was a legitimate win. And that's the only purpose your life will ever serve in this space, is to give me a little bit of a chuckle, all right? Is to give me a little bit of a chortle, all right? Because outside of this space, your life is meaningless. You don't mean anything in this life. It was a legitimate win on my part. So you can see how it's kind of disingenuous, right? Because if you're losing, you should own that loss. You shouldn't say that.
Bro, what is this?
Oh yeah, I was just pretending to lose. What is this? Is me saying the truth, right? The thing is, okay, actually, no. I think I can make a better point. So the point is, okay, the point is that why the hell should there... Actually, I'll say this. Okay, so performatively, you can definitely play up your personality. Everybody puts an effort more into their streams than versus when they're offline, obviously. When you're playing Helldivers, you're not going to be doing stream commentary when you're playing Helldivers, right? You're not going to be doing that. When you're doing stream commentary, you're going to be like this, right? Obviously, do you think that I'm going to be like commentating like this when I'm out there with my friends? No, I'm not, okay? The thing is, again, I think I said here before, right? Is that if you're using it as a shield from how poorly that you are presenting yourself on a stream, that after the stream is over, you're basically, it's like a Mott and Bailey of bad debate performance, right? You're basically saying, okay, wow, offline, after the debate is over, if you do bad, you're saying, oh yeah, I was just playing it up, right? But if you are, if you have done well, you'd say, oh, I am taking the W, right? Where, okay, if you lose, you have an easy place to backtrack to, but if you win, then you want to take the full credit for it, as if there was actually some degree of risk, right? So, that is what I'm saying. It's okay to be more performative on your stream, okay? I will say that much. However, the problem is when you use it to not take the L, okay? When you use it as a shield from the L. Right? I was just pretending to be retarded. I was just pretending blah, 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 right? If you lose...
This is the same person who I was like, food shops, why did you do that with Reservoir? And she was like, I was trying to go Zerka. I was trying to go full Zerka. If that's not performative, then what is?
What?
This is the same person who I was like, food shops, why did you do that with Reservoir? And she was like, I was trying to go Zerka. I was trying to go full Zerka. If that's not performative, then what is?
Do I not like look back upon all of that and then just go, you know what? I was really cringe back then. I am able to own up and take the L, right? Does that like...
Okay, we're gonna skip over some
well,
of
it
this.
can't be justified or not justified or whatever the fuck. I never went into detail there. But like otherwise I don't really see any other like... I just don't. And I'm genuinely trying to help you out here. And I shouldn't be helping you out here. I should be putting you on the spot. Right? Like the fact that I have to be this charitable is fucking insane. I feel like I'm being gaslit right now. This podcast was March 4th, okay? But at this point, okay, I would imagine that, you know, at this point, yeah, this was like kind of the cutting off point, right? So it didn't really matter all that much anymore. Yeah. But yeah, like ever since then, if you look at my channel history, right? I'm not really making content out of that. Because I'm going to be honest, okay? I wish I could, okay? I wish I could. Because, you know, like if only like a subject that I was like kind of good at talking at, right? It was episode 2. Was it episode 2? This is episode 3? Oh fuck. I got that. Sorry. I'm being fucking retarded right now. Okay. Give me a second. Okay. Wait, it was the same day. So March 4th. March 4th. Okay. How was this coincidentally the same day? How, like, what the fuck? Like, it's not like they were like syncing up. It's not like they were syncing up their podcast times, right? But somehow it was coincidentally the same day. But yeah, like no. So you have to understand that for this March 4th, it's unless they were literally planning it to be the same day, it was still Stardust that struck first. Does that make sense? Because it's not like you can plan this ahead of time. Sorry. It's not like you can plan this on the day of, right? Unless they planned this on the day of, then fine, I'll concede that part, right? But for something like this, I would imagine that you have to plan this ahead of time. Does that make sense? You have to plan this ahead of time. So since you have to plan this ahead of time, yeah, she struck first. Yes. And then after she strikes first, I think everything else is just fair game. I think everything after that's fair game. Bro, no one cares who struck first. No, but it matters. It absolutely 100% matters. Absolutely, it does. Because if, for example, after the public disassociation, right? After the public disassociation, if I was the one who said, oh yeah, Stardust is a fat blob who is in a sweater, who is pathetic, and blah blah blah, right? Then yeah, obviously that's my wrong. That's my wrong, right?
Yeah, if you she's definitely right here. If you're friends and you have an expectation of one another, and there's like boundaries that you would expect each other not to cross, and then one person crosses that boundary. Now, you have two options here. You can either go be like, what the fuck? I don't like that. And if they say, well, it is what it is, then you just start going in on them. Or you just skip that and just start going in on them. Either way, if they're the ones who cross the boundary first, if they're the ones who fucked you over, then yeah, it just kind of is what it is. Like they're the ones who started it. And like, if I go and start talking shit about people that I'm not friends with and that I have beef with, and that, like, you know, nobody's going to be like, what the fuck, Tom? What are you doing? Or if I start calling them out for something that they're doing wrong, nobody's going, oh my goodness, Tom, whoa. I thought you guys were enemies. Why would you call them out like that? Nobody's going to say that, right? But if we're friends and I start calling them out and like pointing out their flaws and pointing out their mistakes over and over and kind of condemning things that they're doing, yeah, people are going to be like, whoa, what's happening? What the fuck is going on here? So yeah, if you're the person who does that first, if you're the person who crosses the line and kind of does an unfriendly thing, then yeah, you're the other person's just responding now. The other person's just saying, oh, apparently we're not friends. Okay, then I'll treat you like we're not friends then. If we're not that cool, if we do say this sort of shit about each other, then cool. All right, we say this sort of shit about each other. Here we go.
Of course. But like, but you know, I'm not even that surprised, because like I'm so fucking black-pilled on like these people, right? Like I really am. Like I fucking went through the gauntlet of motherfucking streaming here. Like Jesus. Like the past few, okay, like obviously I'm doing like way better now, right? Like I'm doing way better now. You know, stuff just like, you know, I'm just like going with the flow. I'm actually growing and whatever the fuck, right? And I've had more growth than Stardust have had for possibly months. Who knows? Okay. In just 1 month. Right? But I'm just saying like I went through the gauntlet. Like I went through the gauntlet of rape. I got raped by all these people for months. So who are these people? So who are these people like kind of associating themselves with, right? Like just think about it. Reservoir struck first after the talk that I had with him, right? After the talk I had with him, he struck first. The hit stream, all right? The hit stream after that, the hit piece stream, the day after that, boom, struck first, okay? So I didn't strike first there. He struck first, okay? All right? Stardust, all right? After the public association, which I considered amicable, right? She struck first. Boom, another striking first, right?
Resi didn't strike first. So, okay. I think that she was too harsh on Resi. And she acted like he did more than what he actually did. Okay? But I would say that he struck first. I would say that. I would say that the way that she characterized a lot of the things that he did, I didn't agree with at the time, but I would say that he definitely struck first. Again, when we're talking about like the ways that you engage with people who you're cool with, that struck, I was going to say struck, and then I kept thinking that doesn't feel right. Struck, but it is struck a match. I don't know what, weird. Anyways. Yeah, I would say that, yeah, Resi struck first. Wait, I'm talking about before that. Remember the Sunday bridge burn where you and Resi also got burned by food? No, Resi didn't. I did. Resi didn't. So I got kicked off that panel. Rezi stayed, and she sat and just talked to Rezi because she felt like her and Rezi were the only ones that were actually friends there. That's why I got offended, because I was like, wait, what the fuck? I feel like I've gone out of my way for this chick, and now she's saying, like, we're not even that cool. I didn't even know her and Rezi knew each other. Like, I'm a little blown away right now. But yeah, she stayed on with Rezi. Me and Sunday got kicked. And then Rezi was saying, hey, I think you're being a little unfair to Tom. That wasn't cool. And she was like, oh yeah, maybe, but. And then she said a whole lot more shit about me that I don't want to re-go over all of it. We've addressed it, and it is what it is now. But actually, you know what, while we're on this topic, because again, I've had to deal with this recently where I'm frustrated with the way that I would expect my friends to talk about my shit, right? And I know the way that I talk about my friends' shit. Their drama happens, I'm going to cover it in a way. I'm going to be honest the whole time. I'm going to have criticisms, and I expect them to have criticisms of me, but it's how you cover it that is an issue, right? So if you're doing the whole like, let's milk this drama, let's make it a bigger deal than it actually is, let's sit and gawk and make faces, oh my goodness, what? I can't believe they did that, what the fuck? Like, doing that shit is the annoying shit, right? That's the stuff that where you're like, okay, you're purposefully playing this up at the cost of my reputation for your own gain. That's fucked. I don't like. So when I cover like like a Doomer in Philly, right? I'm not sitting there shitting on them the whole time. I'm not sitting there talking about what fucking retards they are. I'm not sitting there over and over go, oh my goodness, whoa, I can't believe it. You got to be kidding me, right? I don't do that because that's just like over being overly performative for people that like you're probably not trying to ruin. Whereas like if you are trying to ruin them, yeah, do all that fucking shit. Do all of it all day. So while we're on the topic, okay? Because like I said, I've had issues with other people recently where I'm like, yeah, I don't like the way you're doing this. I didn't do this to you. I wouldn't do this to you. I feel like Foodshops did do this to me. She like over and over either misunderstood or just over hyperbolized something that I said and acted like it was something I didn't say, or acted like I was doing something I wasn't doing. Yeah, either kept misunderstanding things or totally understood it and just blew it up anyways and acted like it was something great. Oh, why would he say that? Oh my goodness, this is fucking wild. What's happening? Whoa, this is the optics. Even why would he do this? The optics. Oh my goodness. It's like, damn, dude. Like, again, all of these people, so many people, when I look at the shit they did and when I covered it, I didn't do this to them. I didn't act this way. I definitely didn't give a fuck about the optics. And I didn't keep saying, the optics, think about the optics. Like, I didn't do that. But then I see them do it to me and I think, either this is a different relationship than I think it is, or I need to start covering their shit very differently. Yeah, I need to start covering their stuff very, very differently if this is how we're doing things. So yeah, I like this is over and over kind of seeing this from other people and then looking back at the way that I covered their stuff and thinking, I don't know. I still feel like food struck first with Rezi. I don't know. How she acted with him didn't fit my read with Rezi's actions. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. So again, where she says Rezi struck first, she went onto his stream and she started talking about Lolly and And Resi started pushing, and a bunch of the, you know, the fucking gremlins came out the woodwork and started telling Resi, ask her this, push her on this, push her harder. Don't let her get away with that, Resi. Don't let, you gotta go back to that. Don't do, and like, there was, whereas, if you guys remember, literally, I think 2 weeks earlier, maybe a month earlier, Foodshop said the same thing on my stream with me and Vivian Wolf, and we both just went, huh, okay, cool. Well, time to move on. It just moved on to something else. Thanks for that. So yeah, it's very, very different ways of interacting with it, and yeah, if you're like super curious about it and there's something like that, I would probably, with somebody that I'm cool with, somebody that I have a relationship with, I'd probably be like, yeah, let's hold this for off stream. Let me ask you about this. If I need to know about that shit, if it's something I'm really curious about, yeah, I'll be like, let me ask you about this off stream.
Who else? Oh yeah, Zonia, right? We can't forget about Zonia. Zonia, after the amicable distancing, right? After the amicable distancing that we had, right? After the non-aggression pact that we had, right? Zonia, once again, all right, using her excuse of being high on shrooms, sending the packaged bomb of montage that she has edited herself over to Keffels, over to like her large audience at the time, right? Because she was in the middle of her drama streams. Boom, struck first, okay? So every example of these people who have had a bridge whip, they all struck first. All of them. So for them to, again, cry bully about me, then striking back is, like, it has to be the most absurd thing. Like, I feel like I'm being gaslit into feeling guilty, right? And even now, I feel like I'm being gaslit into feeling guilty.
Did you even watch the stream, Tom? Yeah, we covered it here. The one with Resi in Foodshops, where they talked about this like 3-4 months ago. I mean, the Foodshops just spills shit to get more attention all the time. And this time, it bit her in the ass. And even tried to guide her to better ways of saying it. And she went full cow. I agree, which is, again, like, there were parts that I definitely felt like she overreacted to how he engaged with her. And I, like, you can go back to, like, when all of this happened and I defended him and told her, like, yeah, you're kind of acting like he did some things that he didn't do. But again, when we're looking at, like, I think this was like the second or third time she had said this on somebody's stream, and the first time that they decided to, like, let's have a full fucking conversation about this now, and ask a lot of questions and that sort of shit. So that's all I'm talking about, is just like, they say the thing, okay? Yes, it's, and I said at the time, it's her own fault for, like, continuing to say this. Now, it's also, though, like, when she said these things, like, on my stream, I didn't turn around and say, yo, Foods, I stopped that stream to help you, okay? You should not be saying this on stream. What are you doing? I didn't say that, right? So it could be that instead, after the first couple times she says this, she sees a pattern where it's okay for her to say this, that people are not making a big deal about this. They're not canceling her over it. They're not turning it into drama. And so now she feels more and more comfortable to say it more and more. That is like a rational thought process that could happen in those moments, especially if you're autistic, because I think for anybody else, they would see me and Vivian be like, ugh. Cool story, bro. So how about that game last night? You know, like, anybody else could see us and our reaction and see that we were trying our best to just move away from that and get onto something else. Whereas, yes, if you don't know that's what's happening, it might seem like, oh, they were rather accepting of what I said. They didn't make a big deal about it at all. I can say this to more people now. First time she mentioned power dynamics, no? And Resi was just kind of speechless. That's the main issue about her loving the power, like teacher-student relationships. That's what set off the alarms. Again, I understand. It's just I don't know what... I don't know what the... Again, I'm talking about doing this on stream for content in front of everybody, like that sort of thing. Like, for me, yes, lots of times there are things that people will say that I will immediately DM them and be like, yo, we're not talking about this on my fucking stream. That is not happening. I will talk to you about this later. And I do want to talk to them about it because I think, okay, this is actually something concerning. This is something I want to know about. So I am going to reach out to them and have a conversation. But yes, doing it on stream to where, like, if I go have that conversation with them behind the scenes and I decide, you know what, I don't like this person anymore, I might go blow them up on stream later. But I don't want to have to make that decision on stream. I don't want to have to make that decision in front of everybody on whether or not I'm about to fuck somebody up and, like, hurt their career or, you know, damage their friendships and their reputations in front of everybody. Like, yeah, I would rather try to make those decisions off stream before I do something like that.
When really, like, I still am to this day trying to interpret all of their actions very charitably, right? But even interpreting their actions charitably, it's still unhinged. It's still so fucking remedial. Foods, I don't think Stardust is on the same level as Zonia, but I see your point. Yeah, but, like, again, hopping onto, like, now recording with, like, what, 200 to 250 concurrent viewers I think they have all the time, and then with them, like, talking about that on like their third Food Shops episode at that point, where they're gonna go like, oh my god, look at Food Shops, this locale, right? What about Sleepy? Okay, that one, I will admit that I have done some degree of wrong there. But, like, I consider that as part of the Zonia package, right? Where, like, here's the thing, if I've done something wrong, I'm more than willing to own up to it.
I have to go back over that. I gotta go back over that whole thing with Yuki and Zonia, because at the time, I'll admit, I was out of it. I was very tired when I covered it. I wasn't really paying attention, and I was very confused. Throughout the entire thing, I was kind of missing what was going on. And my read on it was, Yuki did something wrong, but they did something wrong in private. That Food Shops shouldn't have leaked it and made it public, but she did want to justify why she was kicking this person out of the community that had been pretty prominent for the last couple months, and so she wanted to just kind of air everything out. But generally, you don't leak stuff over something that happened in private, and even sometimes, if something happens publicly, if there's an ability to ameliorate it privately, that's like, it's just like a misunderstanding or something, normally you do that. In this case, she just kind of aired shit out publicly. But it did, from what I remember, and again, I'm just telling you, I was confused. I didn't listen. I was kind of out of it. Yuki did do something wrong. And then Zonia overreacted and kind of just blew Food Shops up over it unnecessarily. And then Beckett and I had a conversation with Zonia afterwards, being like, yo, maybe a little bad faith. Maybe it didn't make a whole lot of sense. Didn't, maybe an overreaction. And I think Zonia was like, yeah, sure. Maybe that wasn't the best direction. But Food leaked some stuff, right? Or no, yes. Food Shops leaked private things to explain to people why she was kicking Yuki out of the community. But anyways, since then, that's the way I remember it. Since then, other people came and said, no, that is not what happened. You were kind of moved in a direction there, but it was very different. And what happened was way worse. And you just kind of swept it all. And I don't even remember half the fucking shit that happened that day. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and look at it and reassess what the fuck happened there.
I own up to that shit, okay? Like for the sleepy thing, I agree that I shouldn't have leaked that shit. I obviously should have reached out in private, right? I own up to that shit. But these motherfuckers won't own up. They just double down. Okay, all right, I'm done. I sent her the DM, all right? If she doesn't have to talk with me tonight, it is what it is. Open up the phone lines immediately. Stardust is calling in. Where? I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it.
Sorry, let me clarify. I don't want to vague post too much, but I also don't want to clarify too much because I don't want to put out information after if I haven't gone back and verified it yet. So I just realized I was way too vague on that. There were specific details of it that I glossed over at the time. I wasn't paying attention during it, and that these are things that are that should have been important details that I kind of glossed over at the time. So that's what I should have said. Yes, they were just important details that I glossed over at the time, and that now today are a little bit more important. That I just need to double check on. I mean, she threatened to leak her and Star's DMs as well. But hold on, just a second ago, she said Star can leak those DMs, and then somebody in chat said, "Wow, you're threatening to leak Star's DMs," and she said, "No, I'm not. I said Star can leak them. She has my permission."
The bridge it's been burned a long time ago. Yes.
So unless you're talking about something else, I don't know.
Even if you measure back the bridge burning, to the now recording episode, even if you measure it back there, even then, I'm still in the right. Yes. What the fuck? Dude! Stop being cringe! Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go into her chat at this point. Dude, what the fuck, dude? This is so cringe. Just confront me in person! You think I'm afraid?
Stardust didn't need to go on that show or whatever. But, you know, I think it was nice to talk with my friends about stuff. I don't know if that conversation is really going to be...
There you go.
Particularly good because I am
Don't antagonize in chat. I'm not. I'm just saying I'm up for a talk.
Now?
There you go.
Okay. This olive chase is hilarious. What is an olive chase? If they're friends and it shouldn't be recorded, lol. Well, they're content creators. Like,
I can't believe I DM'd her in private, and it takes me going into her chat.
A lot of content creators live
Like,
their lives online, so. So are they friends or not? They're friends, but they're content creator friends, so. Yeah, that's kind of what it is.
Okay, I'm not gonna double DM.
Private
Okay, that's
messaging
not
exists. Do
happening.
you think I have time for private messaging? When
That's not fucking happening. I'm not gonna double DM. I've already done all I could, okay? In public and in private, okay? You guys can't say I haven't done my part here, all right? You guys can't say that anymore. That I'm a person without integrity. She looks so bad here. She looks so bad. Okay.
Let me see, just a second.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, just 1 second. Let me move the thingy here too, so stream can see it. How do I do that?
Yeah, give me a second. I want to pull up the actual voice chat thing. Okay. Why?
Okay.
Why? Why are you a
what?
banana? Explain.
Because I want to be a banana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I'm gonna start
Awesome.
this off. I'm gonna start this off with a okay, yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. I would like to get all the facts on the table first before we make any assessments, okay? So, have I ever said anything equivalent to inconsiderate, bitchy, or asshole to you before the now recording episode where you appeared on with Sulfur and Reservoir?
No, but I would say that I don't think I've ever done anything as inconsiderate and bitchy as turning a W into an L after somebody went to bat for me and got 2 W's in a row.
Okay. Is it also true? Sure, I'll say that is true. However, is it also true that I didn't tell you
Into an L after somebody went to bat for me and got 2 W's in a row.
Okay. Is it also
Okay. So this is the weird thing, okay? So unless food shops positions changed, why would it turn into an L? My mic's crackling. Thank you. Yeah, unless food shops positions changed, how could it be an L? She doubled down after started damage control on Chud stream and other places. Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. Is that like I defended food shops positions. Stardust defended food shops positions. Food shops still has the same positions. So we had the same positions. Now, if all of a sudden if all of a sudden we disagree, well, that's because our positions changed because food shops didn't. Tomfoolery show on Chud stream, she accepted the lowercase p framing. I mean, she did that before that as well. Like, that wasn't a new thing. That she did that months ago, numerous times. That was not new. That is the same as it's been the whole time. So she just waffles. Again, when Stardust and I are like defending the positions, we're saying she's not a fucking pedophile, right? Like, even if she was, it wouldn't matter because she's not an offending pedophile. So, like, who the fuck cares? At least that was my position. Okay. Maybe Stardust just said, she's not a pedophile. If she was, I would stop talking to her. Maybe that's what Stardust said. My position was, she's not a pedophile. None of this says pedophile. But if she was a pedophile, so what? She's not an offending pedophile. So who cares? So if all of a sudden she's like, hey, I'm a pedophile. Like, okay. It's obvious that she's just buying into the meme. People are calling her a pedophile one way or the other. It's kind of, and I gave her the same advice. Stop talking about this. Like, just kind of leave it alone. One, because it was obviously very stressful for her and best for her not to argue it. Two, she wasn't great at arguing it and didn't seem like she had thought out all of her positions. Now, maybe she has now. And maybe now, like, she's had a lot of, like, she's probably ruminated on this a lot and thought, oh, I wish I said this. I wish I said that. I wish I had worded it this way. Like, she's probably done all of that and then now thinks, okay, now I can go back out and do this again because I've thought a lot about this. But that's why I was telling her really not to talk about it. It was one, yes, for her mental health, two, for her own optics, and three, because, yeah, she just didn't seem to have the ability to defend herself in an effective way. But if she decided to go back out and start talking about it, yeah, for me, it didn't change anything. But it's obviously going to be really hard for her after all of this has happened. People are going to call her a pedophile one way or the other. She can't get away from that. It is what it is. There's a bunch of children on the internet who are going to run around. They call me a pedophile. They call everybody pedophiles. So they're definitely going to call food shops a pedophile. So it's yeah, it's kind of like from her perspective, there's not much of a choice. Like, she just kind of has to, yeah, buy the label as a meme and just play with it, because otherwise she's always going to be arguing with people over whether or not she's a pedophile, right? She's stuck always arguing, no, I'm not a pedophile. And nobody wants to get stuck in the position where they have to keep defending themselves as to whether or not they're a pedophile. So instead, it's much easier if you just go, yeah, sure, I'm a pedophile. Okay, next. What else?
Also true. Sure, I'll say that is true. However, is it also true that I didn't tell you to do that of like, I didn't command you to do anything? I didn't.
No, you didn't command me to do it, but you certainly liked it. You certainly liked it. You certainly benefited from it. You certainly enjoyed it.
Okay, if somebody gives you a gift, right? If somebody gives you a gift, of course, the person who is receiving the gift is going to be gracious about the gift. Yes.
Yes, but you expect them to not spit in your face.
Okay, so after that, okay, so what part of it is spitting in your face?
Right.
Tell me.
So
No, specifically after the
Yes.
the wig thing. Yeah.
If I give 2 W's to you, right? Two presents to you, okay? And you decide to go in public and take those presents and stomp on them until they look like nothing like what they were supposed to be. Yeah, that's kind of like either you're spitting in my face or you're like stomping the presents I gave to you and turning them.
This is weird to me. Like, there's a couple of things. Let me caveat this a couple of ways, okay? One, if I state something here, it's my position. I'm not giving somebody a present normally. I'm just stating my position on it. It's my position. It's what I believe. It is what it is. Like, not it's not something that like anybody owes me for, or like needs to give me gratitude for me stating my position. That's what I do here. Gonna happen one way or the other, so who cares? But also, with that said, just because I have a position doesn't mean I'm going to state it. There can be a drama running around where I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to sit this one out. I don't need to go stick my nose in this one. But if I did, I don't think I would ask for some sort of like gratitude for it either. I think it's weird to be like, I defended you. Like, okay. Well done. You're on the right side of history. Good
That
job.
makes you absolute dog shit, though.
Okay. Is it also true, all right? Is it also true that for one of them, specifically the one where I hopped onto Chud Logic stream, let's just talk about that one for now, okay? Specifically because of that one, that not only have I conceded to you in private.
If you have a friend who keeps doing self-harm and you say, hey, maybe get help. If you keep doing this, I can't be around you. Is that wrong? It depends. When we say self-harm, do we mean harm to your optics, or do we mean like mental harm, like your mental health is being harmed? Like, which one, what harm are we talking about?
That it was something that I should have not have done specifically in regards to the small p pedophile thing, okay? But also in addition to that, that you were in fact even saying that I was like doing good, like during that Chud Logic.
Sure.
Yeah, but you can say she's doing harm in both. But if you give that sort of ultimatum, you're stating one of those, right? And so I'm saying, if you're saying, hey, you're harming your optics so badly that I can't be friends with you anymore, like, okay, it's a little weird, but all right. Our friendship is dependent on my optics, apparently. Okay. But yeah, if it's not optics and it's like mental health sort of thing, then yeah, sure. Quickly, because I am super far behind.
I thought
panel.
for one part of that panel that you were doing well, and then I thought that overall as a panel, as I was looking back on it, overall as a panel, I thought that there were things there that ended up hurting you more than helping you, even if I did think you did well in certain parts.
Okay, is it possible for me to read out the DMs that after that panel?
I'll read it out myself. Let me see. Let me see.
Trying to find the thing. Okay, I found it.
Just a second. What date is it at?
It would be February 23rd, 2024.
Okay, let me just start with that. Let's see. After that, oh, I said you calling the purple hair guy a rapist is hilarious, and it was hilarious. Calling him a rapist is very funny.
You know what? Is it possible to just like put it up on screen like our DMs?
I would prefer not to.
Okay.
I would prefer not to. Hey, look. I said good job, you fucking cooked, right? And that was after the panel was over, I think.
Let me
And then
search
you
for
said,
that.
I'm sorry.
No, hold on. I'm trying to find the part where you said good job, you fucking cooked.
Yeah. And then
I
you
don't-
said, yeah, that was a tough panel. The commentary community is ruthless. LOL. Thanks. And I made a joke. I'm gonna look at Sailor Moon hentai in celebration of your W. You said, LOL. Thank you. I appreciate your sentiment. This granddad guy sounds like a sex freak, TBH. I wouldn't be surprised if in a few years it comes out he's a sex pest. LOL. True. They are all projecting for real.
Wait,
then I
clarify
ask
when
you-
I'm talking versus you're talking. Clarify. Yeah.
Oh,
Don Breezy.
Hello.
What it do?
What it do? All right, listen. First off, Mantis, I will not disappoint you. I don't know why you hating. Real quick. So the reason why it's so infuriating to see this person who continuously stirs up needless drama and focuses everything on themselves and plays the victim is because it's a cycle, and Loop Shops keeps doing this, right? And it's really annoying because I've been this person. I've been a person who's like a black hole with your friendships and personal life, and like people try to help you and you ignore them because you're dealing with your own things and you're self-centered. And it's so for someone who constantly says, I'm going to take accountability, I'm going to change, I'm going to do this and that, and then almost like clockwork just flips on everything. Like, can you not see how that can be a frustrating person to, like, even if you try to give them charity, it's just like they don't even care. Like, they're just like, well, I know I'm destroying myself, but hey, we can do this or that, or giving you ideas. They just do it, just goes in one ear and out the other. That's my main issue with this person. She literally destroys content with her, like, it's just self-absorbed. Like, you watch way too much Raj Royale and we're like LARPing, like one moment you're Zerka, next moment you think you're Destiny. And it's fucking annoying. Fair.
Yeah, sure. Those are, but you realize those are like different things, right? Like Food Shops was always that person. That's not a new thing. That wasn't something that happened after the Lolly stuff. That was just who Food Shops always was like just somebody who didn't really take people's advice, kind of spurred out a little bit too much, like, but then a couple minutes later would be like, oh, I'm a great researcher. I'm a great debater and I destroy people and I'm, very serious. And then spurting out and screaming a couple minutes later again. And she would ask for advice. She would ask for growth advice and all sorts of shit, but then literally do the exact opposite pretty consistently.
Exactly.
Like, that's
Yeah,
always
and
who
then-
Food
yeah.
Shops was. So this, like, I hear what you're saying, and we can say, yes, that's frustrating, but that's not a new thing to, like, kind of have a problem with, right?
Well, I'm not saying it's a new thing to have a problem with. Well, generally, I'm just stating examples that are obvious, like recently. But again, like this whole thing, like this, like I think it takes away from like good content. Or there's people that do the different kinds of content. You may not agree with Chud, but you may think his jokes are funny and he's hilarious. But some other people might see Chud and say, "Hey, that guy's a fucking racist bigot or something," right? Because you're only hearing like very selective hearing on what people are doing. So that's
of
okay.
course.
You can watch a different creator then if you don't agree with that. My problem is I see zero reason why anyone would want to associate with a person who's going to constantly just like you'll even see it in this conversation. Star makes a hypothetical of if I really hated you, I would just call you a PDF file. And then all she hears is you're a PDF file and goes, "What? Did you just call me?" And just flips. And I go, "This reminds me of me when I was strung out on drugs, driving my family and friends crazy." And
Yeah.
it drives you crazy too. So I don't know. I just see it's sad because like again, I don't think she's stupid. I think they're like, I haven't seen any of her research streams because honestly, I think research streams in general are boring because I'm an uneducated idiot, just some other jerk off on the internet. But I mean, it's just frustrating when like it's obvious from her haters and people who try to give her charity, like you, Zonia, and Star. She just doesn't get. It's all about herself. Anything for clout. What am I at? 20 viewers. She's probably always watching that number. Then I think that takes away from any genuine content she could make.
Sure. Again, but these are my problem is that these are like very like surface level criticisms that would say, hey, this is like why I might not want to hang out with somebody or why I might not want to be friends with them or something. Whereas instead, this was why I'm going onto a panel to shit on this person and kind of like burn the bridge with them publicly and
That's
like
that's the
seems
internet,
very
though.
different. That's
I
not
guess,
a good
yeah.
enough excuse, though, right? Like that's
Okay.
we can say that's the internet, and you're right, pragmatically, like that just is the case. But it doesn't mean that like we excuse it afterwards, right?
Well, you're excusing food shops doing the same repetition of things there too, and then deflecting the blame onto other people. So I'd say that's kind of
Wait,
ridiculous.
what do you
no?
mean?
Well, like again, you could say, "Oh, like these people are being so mean and whatever," but then like on the flip side, like she like isn't it kind of like I mean, I know Star's kind of overreacting in a sense of saying like and from a sense of like, "Oh, you took these W's I gave you, meaning like, you know, this trying to get people to take it easy on you a little bit, but when you don't give yourself like when you don't take that and just kind of like settle down a little bit, and then the second someone says something you don't like, you double down on the thing to try to look like a Giga Chad. Like it's not gonna help.
Sure,
I don't know.
it's not going to help. But again, I just my problem is that I feel like all of the things that you're describing just are food shops. These are just things that we've always known before.
Well, that would explain why I am like
anybody-
I just absolutely cannot ever watch. And also, Alley Cat, I've never been in her chat. I never would be. But yeah, it's just annoying that now some of the people that I watch sometimes off and on, like it just be, oh, there she is again. She's in the chat. She's donating. She's like, she's claws back in, and then it's like, okay, fuck, I got to turn this off now. Like I guess it's my own personal bias sticking up, but at the same time, I guess I just see like some of my self or some of the problems that I had in the past, and I just wish she would actually like follow through and maybe just take a breather and get some help because again, she could make some great content. She could be a wonderful researcher and all these things. I wouldn't know because all I can see anytime that she comes on Chud's stream, embarrasses herself, says these things, goes on another stream, and it's just like fuck me. It's like seeing reruns of the same bullshit show that you just like don't have any other options. I don't want to have to leave the stream again because you came in here and made it about yourself. Like that's what she does all the time. That's just my opinion though. Who the fuck am I? Just a viewer who watches numerous other streamers in the orbit and just sees the same fucking pattern over and over and over again.
Sure. Again, I'm not disagreeing with the things that you're saying. I just feel like all the things that you're saying are just things that we would say like, well, this is why I wouldn't watch her, or this is why I wouldn't be friends with her in the first place, or something like that. But normally, if I'm friends with somebody or I'm cool with somebody, and then I'm going to like diverge from that, it's normally because something changed, not because things stayed the same, unless these are things that just like grew on me over time and I got wary of and eventually just slowly drifted away. But instead, again,
Yeah.
this was like a very quick shift from like hardcore defender to like talking shit publicly and kind of helping the demise of that person.
Yeah, well, and I think that's why Star got so pissed off is just because she was just like, hey, listen, like, and even some people were giving Star hate too, like, but Star and you and Zonia, there are also a few other people that were reasonable. And the only other problem that I had with what you said earlier was like saying that Resi kind of baited her into that. Like, if you look at the VOD,
Oh, I
from
wasn't
what I
saying
recall,
he baited her. I wasn't saying he baited her.
well, I mean,
I don't think he
you mean
baited her.
like well,
She said it.
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, she said it
Yeah.
herself and put herself in that position, which is why I said I disagreed with the way that she framed it, because she made it sound like he was like milking her and shit like that, where she
Yeah,
put herself
okay,
in
I
the position
misheard you
and
then.
she
Yeah, yeah.
kind of pushed it. I'm just saying that like the ways that people react to things, the way that they react to answers, the ways that they like how far they push it and how many questions they ask and that sort of shit, like that was the yeah, that was the things that I was saying, like these are just things that I just wouldn't do. Like I wouldn't do these with people that I'm not like trying to hurt them in any way.
Yeah, fair enough. And finally, just to get off because you got shit to do, but yeah, like even if you look at the VOD with Rezi, like he's trying to give her hints like maybe we should chill on this. It's like, are you mean this, right?
Yeah.
And she just like doubles down, goes a bit harder. It's just like trying to Zerka, as Star put it, or as she put it actually in her own words, which is like stupid. Like, what happened to Zerka? What platform is Zerka on right now? That's my point. It's like she's gonna get herself banned off all this stuff, and then who's to say how much damage that's gonna have to do on her like psyche and things like that, which would be a shame because I'm not a fan, obviously, but it's just like my explanation would be why people instantly have these connotations about food shops and stuff because they may watch someone else, but when food shops comes in and does these things, it's just like it's off-putting generally, and just I just don't see the value in that when other people have other like methods of doing content and stuff. Your content shouldn't just be, oh poor me, victim, or anything for clout. Like people can sniff that from a mile away. It's just my point.
Sure. Yeah, again, like these are just like people's opinions that they can have. It's just a little bit different from what I'm talking about. And like even part of my issue is also like there's tons of people that I don't watch. I know their content's not interesting to me at all. Other people watch them, fine, no big deal. Like I'm not gonna shit on them just because I don't like their content. It's just not interesting, not something that I would watch. But also, I think over the last month I've been very clear that I just don't give a fuck about like the optics and stuff where people are like, yes, but it's optically bad. You gotta stop with we gotta worry about the optics. So like I feel like everybody like wants to use optics when they don't like something, but they can't give like some sort of moral reasoning for why you shouldn't do it. So then they just like default to optics and say, oh, the optics. Whereas all of us streamers, none of us really care about the fucking optics. We all pick and choose when we want to care about optics and when we don't. And it's it's just kind of annoying to tell somebody else, this is when I want you to care about the optics for my benefit.
And my thing for that would be like she picks and chooses when she wants to be like overly offended or whatever, but then she can go in and go hard on something, and if someone calls, like it's just like kind of weird double standard that she sets sometimes. That's annoying. I'm just saying this from a viewer standpoint. I don't know her personally or anything like that. It's just like from any other time that I'm watching a stream, then all of a sudden food shops and then they're discussing something. It just seems like it's a bummer because like there could be good content there. I'm sure she has great ideas about things or whatever. I wouldn't know because personally I try to avoid it because I don't know. I think she's a content black hole. If I'm being real, that's
okay.
From a viewer's opinion. It just it's not for me.
Fair
but,
enough. I want to say
buddy.
again, your opinion is fine. It's an opinion you can have. It's just that's probably an opinion you've had the entire time, and because this is who you've seen food shops as the entire time. Whereas other people who were friends with her also saw her as that person the entire time and were still friends with her. So your opinion makes sense on why you didn't like her the entire time. Whereas for somebody else, it doesn't make sense that they liked her with those same attributes and characteristics and then didn't like her for the same attributes and characteristics.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate
All right, buddy. Have a good stream.
Later. Tom, do you care about optics when you feel you've been misrepresented or attacked? Otherwise, you wouldn't argue with them and defend yourself. I feel like you're there's an optical aspect to everything. Okay, there's an optical aspect to all things. But normally, the optics that I'm going to care about are based on a fact of the matter, some sort of truth behind it, right? So if people are running around saying, Tom lied, Tom lied, Tom lied, Tom's a liar, well, it's not the, like, obviously it's the optical aspect of it. But the problem that I have with this isn't the optics in and of itself, but the fact that the optics are based on something that's not true, right? So it's going to be the truth of the matter in that case. Just as, like, if I sit here and I make jokes about, like, raping people and I think it's so funny and I'm just going to keep saying stupid jokes about raping people all the time. And then people run around and they're like, oh, Tom's a fucking rapist. Like, okay, the problem I have there isn't just like an optical thing. It's, I'm not a rapist. So, like, those are obviously jokes. When I make the joke, obviously I get that there's bad optics that come with this, that, like, I don't care about rape victims and I don't, that I don't like, you know, I don't think it's as gross as other people do. And I'm not disgusted by the thought of this thing. And, like, there's a bunch of optical things that come with that. But those aren't truths. Those are just optics. Those are only optical things that we're taking away from this and just reading into it. Whereas the other things, those are based on a truth. For example, you spent 2 days defending Hassan with his take on streaming work being harder than normal work. Right. Wait, I don't know what the point you're making is. I feel like you're making my point that, like, yes, that was bad optics for me. I would be much better off always going against Hassan and disagreeing with Hassan and talking shit about Hassan, especially when that's where the bandwagon is going at the time. But instead, I took a position that was, for me, more so based on the truth and what I believe in, rather than what was optically beneficial for me. Because I honestly don't believe Star went to Food's defense with a lot of knowledge behind it. She came into it half-cocked and thought it was full-cocked. I don't know what you mean. Like, what do you think she didn't know? Because I feel like on the panel that we had before Star went to her defense, that we covered everything. Foodshops put out a video covering everything. Me, Rezi, Beckett, Zonia, Stardust, all of us were on there talking about this stuff for like 2-3 hours. Kid Not Kin, Lauren De Laguna, like, we were all there having these conversations for a long period of time. And so, yeah, just... I don't know what information could be missing.
Fuck. Okay. Well, from going forward, I'll do that. And then I think we should skip forward because it's just me asking questions and us talking about unrelated stuff.
But it's all, the full context is relevant though, right?
The full context of me asking you for a photo, so I can use in thumbnails.
Oh, okay. If you're talking about that specific part, then that's fair enough. Okay.
And I asked what was Queenman's argument versus Chud's. I'm so fucking confused. Me too.
Wait, say I said me too. Like, read out, so then it says, like, Foodshop says this, and then you say that, and then...
Oh, okay. Foodshop says me too. LOL.
Says.
Stardust says sorry. Foodshop says he's not good at debate. I don't know what he's saying. I said, oh, sorry, I accidentally typed that here. Lamau. And then I just said, and then Foodshop says, ha ha ha. Stardust says, yeah, I couldn't understand what he was saying. Then Foodshop says, ask Quee, I suppose. Then I say, don't bring me into this drama in all caps. And then Foodshop says, wait, did it? I don't think it did. And I said, just referencing that I saw your goon folder, Lamau. You say, oh, I say, people think it's weird. You say, wait, you use that yourself? Okay, fair enough. I said, I know, but I think people think it's weird, LOL. Then you say, I get it though, okay, I'll try not to mention it. Yeah, also, sorry, about the lowercase p pedophile thing, sorry about it. It was genuine slip up. If people ask about it in the full context, I was going by that guy's specific definition. Then I say, Foodshops, the more you talk about the lowly stuff, the worse this is going to get. Do not turn your recent W's into an L. You have to stop now. Do not bring up my name if you're going to continue talking about the lowly stuff. And then Foodshop says, okay, I think I'm handling it just fine, except for the biting the bullet on the small p pedo thing. I feel a lot more differently mentally than I did when the whole drama happened, and I would say I'm more rhetorically equipped to handle it. I'm saying it's a different scenario this time around, and I don't feel as though I'm looping on it. It's more like I'm having genuine fun talking about it, I would say. But obviously, that's a weird thing to admit. But yeah, debating this stuff isn't bad. Optical nightmare, so I will separate myself from you just to keep your brand safe. You know what I mean. The problem is that the way I phrase things in the past was terrible. Obviously, now that I'm actually debating and contending it's no longer a case where I feel as though I can't find my words. I can't find my words.
That's what I said. That's what I said earlier, is that like that's probably the case, is that like she did say, she ruminated on these things. She like probably went over in her head over and over on like things she could have done better, things she should have said, things she wished she said. She saw what other people were saying, was able to like kind of adjust her rhetoric and the ways that she argued about it. And on top of that, like before, she was just getting like dogpiled and attacked from every corner, where she felt like this might be the end of her career at the time, and worried that everybody's about to just disassociate with her and just not talk to her anymore. So yeah, she was probably super stressed and just not really in a mental state to where she was capable of arguing these things and being as efficient as she would like to be. Whereas now, that's not really the case. She's kind of come to terms with the persona that she has online now, that like this is something that's attached to her now. She can't get away from it. And so she might as well just buy into it. She wanted to talk about it before, and because she wanted to talk about it, instead everybody dogpiled her and attacked her for it. But now the dogpiling and attacking is over. Now she just gets to talk about it. Now she gets to just have those arguments and actually engage in it. And she's probably thought about this a lot. So yeah. What is the point of reading out DMs but not showing them? I'm not sure. There is a difference, and I've talked about the differences before. Like it's much easier to like screenshot and pass around things once you have it on screen. You're able to pick and choose if you want to leave something out that is private, or if you don't remember, like as you're going over it here, you don't remember if there is something private in there that you want to leave out, you just choose to read over it first so that you can like make sure that you're not leaking it, without thinking. And then you get to a point, you're like, oh, fucking shit, I wish I hadn't showed this. So yeah, it's possible that there's a ton of reasons and differences and possibilities, but they didn't explain why.
Be consistent and feel as though I'm not doubling/tripling down on really obviously bad positions. Then I reply, I say, I get that, but even doing the small p thing was really bad optically. No one cares about the reasoning behind it. It just looks bad optically all around. Even if you have better arguments than before, people are going to trap you and clip you. You should prove that you are more than drama. Do theory again. And then you reply, that's already too late. I think people are already on that, LOL. But I just have to contend and fight against that. I think sadly, but also the theory stuff, when I was doing that stuff, it wasn't fun. But where I am right now, I'm actually finding streaming fun. This drama turn was on purpose, not the loli or pedo stuff.
Yeah, Foodshops didn't get a whole lot of viewers off theory. Why would you tell her to do theory again?
But covering drama exclusively on purpose. And then I reply, I get that, but is there any way you can find other drama than the loli stuff? And then you say, I would. But not gonna lie, TBH, everybody is super into the loli stuff right now, and I think I have the best point of view on it. Remember Tomtent? I covered Tomtent like a motherfucker. Nothing like loli or pedo. Then I say, dude, this is gonna kill you optically, and anyone who defended you optically, because people are going to clip you and use it against you. Then you say, the thing is that before today, I was already talking about this kind of stuff extensively on stream anyways, only as a reaction, not as suddenly.
To be fair, every time I watched Foodshops cover the content, she was confused half the time and trying to piece together a bunch of shit that everybody else understood and were able to like engage with. Now, Foodshops was a bit more like charitable and good faith in the ways that she would engage and try to find more context and do devil's advocate and all that other shit. But yeah, there was like I only tuned into her maybe like 3 or 4 different times. And I think every time, whatever it was she was going over, she was just like missing like half the picture.
Bringing it up. So if they wanted to clip me, they're way past that mark. The only problem is the little pedo thing, which I will just have to fight back against. Then I say, I know, but hopping onto the chud thing wasn't necessarily good for you. I'm not sure what the goal is here. Then you say, I know the P word clip was bad, but all in all, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I understand the alarm though, but I only hopped on there because it was fun to argue that stuff from a new point of view. But I get it, you know what I mean? I understand the worry. Tuna Chip wants to talk tonight, and I guess I have to cover the panel. The talk on Rezzy's hurt more. Did you watch the? Oh, sorry, I forgot to say who's saying what. Okay, I say the talk on Rezzy's hurt more. Then Foodshop says, did you watch the thing? And then I say, watching it now. Chad is kind of in agreement that this is bad and self-destructive. Then you say, with people I no longer have a bridge anymore. I get that, but the concern probably is the clipping, right?
Again, from what I heard, Foodshops did fine on Chuds, and I watched it, and she was like, I don't remember much of it, so I don't like. I could be misremembering, but I don't think that there was. I don't remember anything like horrible. Chuds was fine. Rezzy's was bad. What happened on Rezzy's again? Did you guys tell me this earlier?
I think for that, I just push back on out of context clips. Then I say, you have to move on. There is a reason Vosh isn't still addressing things, even though more shit has come out, because addressing it any further is going to bury him. Then you say, that's fair, and I understand your concern, but I would like to be the determiner of when I stop. I do appreciate your concern, though. I promise I'm being aware and cautious and willing to admit when things look bad. Okay, so that's that night, right?
Might as well just read the rest of it at this point. Yeah.
So, just to be clear, maybe it comes up later, but so far, Star says, if you're going to talk about this, I would rather you not mention my name. That's what she said. She didn't say, if you talk about this, I'm not going to associate with you. She said, if you're going to talk about this, I don't want you mentioning me in association with it.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Right
okay, so yeah. February 28th. Then at some point, I don't know what this is in reference to.
This was specifically in reference to when I think when you debated counterpoints or something.
Oh, true. I was debating counterpoints. Yeah.
Food decoupled her PCOD and the Lolly stuff, something she used as a defense before, and basically said, I watch Lolly and don't care. I know who I am. I'm not that person. It was just a trust me, bro. Yeah, sure. That's all it can be. Even if she said, hey, I have sex with kids all the time, it would still just be a trust me, bro. Like literally no matter what she says, it's all a trust me, bro. But Sulfur said it was dangerous, like doxing family friends to talk about and inconsiderate of people around her, and Foodshop said she didn't care. Yeah, if I was Foodshops, I would also say I don't care. If I was Foodshops, I would also be like, yeah, well, sucks to suck.
Yeah, but just for chat's context. Okay, right after the part, I'm willing to admit where things look bad, where Foodshop says that was then after that I did call into her stream and also talked about this with her there. So then here's the next day, 2:32 a.m. I must have been debating Connor, like you're saying. I say sorry, I had hate watchers at some point too. Then FS says, nah, WD told me she fed you that, lol. So that's why I'm not willing to go hard in on you. Then I say, I'm still here behind.
Is it detrimental?
We're fucking live streamers, Sulfur. All right. Do
yes,
you think that
and I'm
we are
saying
all,
this
like,
is the one subject matter that you
when
don't.
we are
no.
like that, where
no
we're
one,
experts in Israel and Palestine.
Listen,
we have to be experts
no,
in that to talk about it.
No, I'm saying that this has an actual negative harm to people that are listening.
Okay. Cool. So
this has a negative harm to the field of research that we desperately need in order to protect future children and young people fucking across the board. No, I am virtue signaling. I am telling you that what you're doing is wrong. I am telling you that what you're doing is harmful.
Signaling. It's like when we talk about like true crime, right?
What of it?
People consume true crime.
And if it was somehow an issue, no. If it was somehow the issue that fucking talking about Ted Bundy all of a sudden would mean that young men were running around and raping little girls and cutting off their fucking heads.
That is what you're implying. Sulfur, that is literally what you're implying.
And which part do you have an issue with? Because I'm telling.
So yeah, just to be clear, the stuff about like the POCD with the other things,
we talked about this, that like there were possibilities where it made sense because it's obviously true that somebody who has POCD is more likely to go look at child porn than somebody who doesn't have POCD, because they're always like testing themselves because they're afraid that they're actually attracted to kids, that they're around kids and then they touch themselves and like, okay, I'm not getting hard. Okay, good. I'm still not a pedophile. And then they then they'll go maybe watch child porn and be like, okay, yeah, cool. I'm still not turned on by this. Okay, good. And they like continuously test themselves over and over. The problem was that the way that she described it is that she actually was turned on by it. And so that immediately made it to where it was separate from the POCD. Like actually going and checking and being like, oh, do I get turned on by it? And like, oh, cool, I do get turned on by it. Yeah, now this is separate. So I feel like from the beginning, we kind of knew that these were separate things. And that when Selfer's talking about like harm to the research, not to family and friends and like other streamers, but harmful to the research and like to the information put out about these things and that sort of shit. Yeah, like that, it probably is. Like if you actually cared about the subject, if this is something that you actually are into and you want to educate people on and you want to talk about, you would want to get it right. And those were things that just they were not right.
You as the person in a position of authority, and your response was, "Oh, no."
Wait, let me finish. Okay, all right. So what I'm saying is that how is this any different from somebody who is talking about true crime, especially on their platform, when they are, let's just say they are an ex-convict.
Do you
okay?
understand
They're
the?
ex-convict who
Do you
came out of
understand
prison and they're
stigma?
talking about true crime.
Do you understand stigma?
Yeah, of course I understand stigma. Yeah.
No. Do you understand stigma? Actually,
Yeah, what does that mean? I said I understand stigma. You asked me a question, so I said yes.
Yeah, I want you to quantify in some way that you understand. Qualify it. I don't give a fuck. Choose one. Can you demonstrate stigma to me? No.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Bro, if I asked you, okay, can you
can't demonstrate?
The entire idea of broadcasting is to get eyeballs on your content. I may be misunderstanding what people mean by optics, but surely how you look / are perceived is extremely important. To an extent, yes. But also, my job is to get eyeballs on my content, and I'd probably be a lot better off just being a fucking conservative and running around arguing in favor of conservative ideals and going back to being like a hard straight arrow Christian that is gonna debate all of these lefties and be one of the minority in this space that is gonna have a much bigger audience because I got a lot less people to engage with. Because there's less streamer to viewer ratio. I'm saying that wrong, but you get what I'm saying. So yeah, like, but I'm not going to do that either, right? Like, even though my job is to get viewers, there's a ton of things that I could do to get viewers, yet I choose not to do a lot of those things. And so, yeah, it'd be the same with like, I'm choosing to make a specific type of content. There's specific topics that I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about them in a specific type of way. And if in the end, people are like, whoa, Tom, nobody wants to watch any of these topics. Your job is to get viewers. Go talk about math. Go talk about science. That'll get you so many more viewers. I'd be like, yeah, then don't watch me. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm doing this content. This is what I'm doing. If you wanted me to do math and science, then yeah, just don't watch me then.
Your understanding, and I appreciate that, which is part of my issue. So, given that you don't understand even just your own personal experience of being stigmatized, it's not terminally online.
Quantify stigma. Nobody knows.
I'm talking to you as someone who does research in a field where what I say and do impacts for my field, for my subdiscipline, It impacts.
Did you do terrorist research?
Yes, and what I say and do, if I am fucking careless, impacts not only just like Muslim people, but brown people. It impacts policy decisions. It impacts more than just you, right?
Why the hell does this standard only apply
Because
to
people
me
hear a
when...
fucking belligerent pedophile when you're talking, and they say, "Oh my god, what the fuck is going on?"
That's great. So,
and then
so
they
if
take that
hold on.
and
If
they run with
believe
it.
me, if they don't believe it, they can just fucking ignore it. Who cares? Okay, all right. They don't have to watch my
They
content.
don't, though. That's the difference, right? And so what you say and do impacts more than just you. You don't want to understand it from the personal harm level of you as a person.
Realize every streamer streams without really
my
caring all
God.
that much about the outside audience
that's
all that much, right?
Fine.
Like, for
I'm
example,
not talking
look at
about
Chud logic. Look at Chud.
everyone
right?
else. I'm talking about you.
Do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're even talking about here. If they're just saying that, like, hey, you make pedophiles look bad, like, but if they're saying, like, hey, you're putting out misinformation and you're, like, just wrong on what you say and that the research disagrees with you, like, that's fine as well. It's, I don't know if it's that, like, big of a deal, but yeah. What disorder are you abbreviating with POCD? Pedophilic OCD.
Behind the scenes if you need me, but I can't be associated with this stuff. And then you say, you're good. LOL, I got you. By the way, you're in a much better position to make these arguments because of the lack of a public association. So it's advantageous whenever you engage with this. I didn't reply to that. And then March 23rd, oh, that's today. You say I'm up. It will be calm enough if you want it to be. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So let's be very clear. All right. From what I see from the logs, right? Is it not true that after the child panel was over, you said I cooked, right? And
I did think you
also wait, can I just finish? Okay. So
yeah.
I cooked. You said I cooked, and then I conceded on the fact that the small p thing looks bad, right? And then later on, you told me later in the conversation that, oh, it wasn't necessarily a good thing, right? Sure, I don't think that these are exclusively like, separate or not separate from each other. I'm just saying that there seems to be some degree of like conflicting, messages there, no?
No, what I mean by that is even if I think you cooked on the Chud panel, that doesn't change the fact that the small p pedophile comment is something that outweighs the rest of it, right?
Which I have said that the small p thing looks bad, right?
No, it doesn't just look bad. And basically nobody remembers your arguments from that panel because they remember the small p pedophile thing.
Sure, but I'm saying moving
so
on
how's that
from
conflicting?
That, right? Does that make sense?
How's that conflicting?
You're talking about a descriptive. I'm talking about a prescriptive. Does that make sense? We don't
No.
You're
I think you were bringing that up because you said it's conflicting for me to say right after the panel that you cooked and then later on say that I don't think that panel necessarily helped for you. Well, I'm explaining it to you. Wait. I'm explaining it to you. I'm explaining to you that it does make sense. It's not conflicting because the small p pedophile comment still outweighed every other argument that you made. Even if you made good arguments, you still have that associated with you from that panel. Nobody remembers your arguments because they remember small p pedophile.
How could you possibly say that when you went on Now Recording to call me a bitch, inconsiderate, and an asshole? How is that any worse than going on to Now Recording to say any of that?
I didn't say that was worse. You going on Chuds was not the part that I disapproved of. It was you going, after the Resi thing turned out really bad for you, it was you going on to have your stream about Loli after that. That's the part that I had a problem with. That was you continuing to double down on it.
So here's the thing, okay? I remember on that specific day that it looked bad, right? And then I just want to get the timeline right. I want to get the timeline right. Is that specific day, I had a bunch of intervention from my chat, right? People hopped on, right? I don't know if you like actually watched all this.
I didn't watch it. I popped in when I popped in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you popped in. Yeah, okay, I remember now. You hopped in, right? And you also confronted me on that, right? Now, after that, I remember that did we disassociate in public after that? You remember?
I said to you publicly, I said in public to you that I can't be associated with this if you keep doing this.
Wait, but we did actually disassociate in public. No?
Yeah, we kind of did, but I don't know that disassociating in public.
You have to concede that.
Wait, Foodshops. Let me explain, okay? The reason why I don't know that is a strong enough disassociation. Me not talking to you is not necessarily disassociation. Me having to condemn the things that you've done, yeah, that's actual disassociation.
Wait, my chat is saying this. Is it not also true? All right, for the disassociation thing particularly, right? Was it not true that I was the first one who brought it up?
In the chat, maybe.
In DMs.
In the DMs, yeah. In the DMs, yeah. But in that call, I said specifically to you that I can't be associated with this. And actually, if you want to say in the DM, actually, that's
just to be clear, when I'm talking about optics, I'm not talking about pandering. I'm saying if you want to like come and say you shouldn't do this, I'm assuming you're saying I shouldn't do this as like some sort of like moral issue that you have. But if instead you turn around and say because it's bad optics, it's like, okay, well, that's something that I'll decide for myself. Like, thanks for the advice. But then people act like they're not giving advice. Now they're upset at you for doing this thing, right? Now they're saying you did something wrong by having bad optics. Now I'm mad at you. Now I'm upset with you because this is bad optics. It's like, okay, fuck. Like we are on different planets here. If you're telling me that you're like, they act like the bad optics is this moral bad. Like the bad optics is this morally bad thing. So if instead you want to say, hey, I want to have a conversation about the best way to curate your content for the most amount of viewers and blah, blah, blah. It's like, cool. But you don't call somebody out for advice on how to curate content or shit like that, right? You don't start drama with people over how to curate content. You don't, like, the optics thing is, if you're acknowledging it's just an optics thing, you're acknowledging that, like, they didn't actually do something wrong, that people feel like they did something wrong, but they didn't actually do something wrong. And for me, the actual part is the part that matters. Things can be bad and look bad, or they can be good and just look bad. Optics is not only the latter. Right. So when I say optics, I'm saying it's only the latter. I'm saying we're only talking about the optics part. That they're saying you didn't do something bad, it just looks bad. So each time I say optics, that's what I'm talking about. If they did something bad, I wouldn't talk about the optics. I would just talk about the bad thing that they did.
That's not even true about the DMs, because I've said before that food shops, if you keep doing this, if you keep fucking yourself optically, I can't say that I'll always be here, being associated with you.
Okay, so what I don't like is when it's frustrating when you frame things as in like you are distancing away from me, right? You said this multiple times in public. When I said it first, optical nightmare, so I will separate myself from you. These are my words specifically in the DMs, right?
In the DMs, yes, but still before that DM, we talked about this before too.
What do you mean you talked about this before?
We've talked about, like, you and I have been in calls before. You and I have talked before where I've said about, like, I can't be associated with this if you do certain things.
Now, this is true, but the thing is, right? The
So
thing
it wasn't
is
like you
that
said it
you
first.
understood. No. You understood. You understood that. Remember, when we had the calls together, was it not like from way back then? Like way back then in December, November? Like during
Does
that
it
time
matter?
period?
Does it matter?
It does
I
matter.
said I would
The reason it
disassociate
does
with you.
matter. No, the reason it does matter is because an amount of time has passed since then, where in that amount of time, right, there has been several on and off loops, right?
Why would my
And so
values
then
change
when
on
it
that?
happened again, no, you have
Why
to understand.
would my values change all of a sudden over that?
No, rather what I'm saying is that I basically was cognizant of how it might look for you, and so I go, you know what? If you have to separate from me at that point, then yeah. But still,
And also,
even at
just
that
because you
point, you
said it-
didn't separate from me in private. You didn't do that. So sure, at that point you said on stream, I remember you said, "Oh yeah, I want to separate now from you in public." So then when I watched that, I was like, "Okay, fine. Then all right, bridge burned in public, okay?" So I don't know how the heck stuff works in regards to that at all. But
that's not a bridge burning. That's not a bridge burning. Even if you said in DMs talking about, oh, if you have to dissociate, whatever, like that doesn't mean shit, because in public I still said, like, okay, that yes, I am going to have to dissociate with you. Secondly, you can say that what was the thing that you just said? The other point that you made?
What do you mean other point? There's multiple
You made another
points.
point. You made another point right after that one.
Okay, so what I was saying is that
Sorry,
after that stream, all right, I think it was like probably the day afterwards, or maybe. Or
oh wait, no, I remember what I was gonna say. I remember what I was gonna say. Okay. So
I'm just
yeah,
trying to get the facts right. Okay, that's all I'm trying to do. Right now.
You may have, okay, sure, that's fine. You may have thought that that was bridge burning. That's not bridge burning. That was just me saying I can't be associated with you. That's not a bridge burning. Are you kidding me? Especially when that was like the least confrontational thing I've ever done, right? And when I was still sympathetic to you to that night. Do you think that me simply saying, "Oh, I can't be associated with you," is enough for people for me to be considered disassociated with you? I have to go and publicly condemn what you've said and done. That's what I have to do. That is disassociating.
No, maybe we can bring up the original VOD, right? But from what I remember, okay, when I hear something along the lines of, okay, I have to distance myself from you at that point, right? Then yeah, of course I'm gonna take it as a degree of an indication of bridge burning, no? Or should I
Real
not
bridge
interpret
burning?
it like that?
Okay, so real bridge burning food shops would have been me calling you a PDF file. That would have been real bridge burning.
No, you don't have to have a bridge burning where you necessarily have to call me a PDF file. I don't think you believe that.
I think
Yeah, obviously disassociating is like, I don't know. It's hard to say because normally when we say bridge, right, we're talking about the connection between you and me. We're saying like the connection between you and me is the bridge. The bond that we have, this is the bridge. And we're burning this. This connection is no longer there. We do not have this bond anymore. Where it is not this. Okay? It's a bridge burning. But if I say, I'm disassociating from you in public, but we're still cool in private, you still have that connection, apparently. You're just not going to have it publicly. So like Freddie said, yeah, so like disassociation publicly isn't bridge building. It's not, it's definitely not helping your relationship, but it doesn't mean that, like, if you're saying, hey, we have a private relationship and a public relationship, I'm getting rid of the public one. And it sounds like Stardust specified publicly, I have to disassociate publicly, that's the thing.
I think first off, you continue to talk after that stream where you talked with your chat and I tried to call in, right? You continue to talk about it. Do you think people are not going to come to me and ask me my opinion on that? How do you think it looks if I say, no, I want to share my opinion?
Okay, again, maybe.
I have too many tabs open now.
Okay, what is this? Boom, boom, boom. I got a lawyer lady reached out to me and she wants to negotiate my appearances. Thank God. Nice. We're doing this. Oh, whoa, why is he digging into my community?
Never left crypto. I've just been watching it from the shadows. It's kind of hard to leave when you've invested so many years into it. So that's his statement. He then shared a personal account screenshot showing...
Destiny, do you worry at all that you're Streisanding this? Like, what if you just ignored him and he has now blown it up with an article? Okay, hold on. We had this talk before, and I'm going to have this talk again. Don't ever talk about optics, or don't ever talk. The meta conversations are so fucking annoying. If somebody were to type out and they're like, wow, I think Destiny looks bad here. Okay, that's your opinion. I can handle that. But when people type out, wow, I think Destiny might look bad to other people here, kill yourself in a video game. Nobody cares, okay? Sometimes I think rhetorical and optical maneuvering are important, okay?
This is literally what I said my issue was when people were saying, like, no, I know that you don't mean that, but I'm upset with you because other people might feel like you mean this. I'm like, yeah, that's my point. Like, I get it. Other people think I'm doing this thing. Cool. But like, I know you know I'm not doing that thing. So like, that's all you should be saying is just, I know Tom's not doing this thing. End of story.
Sometimes, though, so factually correct, I don't give a fuck, okay? So the next time some other person has to suffer because somebody violates green room etiquette, they're going to think that. They're going to be like, you know, I remember that one crazy guy Destiny did do that one post. And maybe, now that I know what green rooms are, okay, I will contribute to the culture of changing how people act, all right? And I'm going to do it while fucking your mom.
Crypto. I've just been watching it from the shadows. It's kind of hard to leave when you've invested so many years into it. So that's his statement. He then shared a personal account screenshot showing that he does have some XCAD still held. But while that's an interesting fact and an interesting explanation, it doesn't really change the core accusation of whether he pumped and dumped his fans. I thought it was interesting KSI didn't deny the crypto.
Oh, he's talking about crypto. Sorry, I'm doing.
Well, it was his, or that he made that amount of money. He's just telling us, well, I'm still hodling some of it.
Memory is an issue for you, all right? But as far as I remember, okay, as far as I remember, on that specific day, after that, did it not happen that people came into my stream to intervene after all the day's events happened, where the day's events included these two panel hop-ins?
I'm confused.
Can we just get the timeline right first? Okay, so on that day, right, on that day, Child Logic panel, Reservoir panel, intervention, okay?
Yes.
And then, after that was over, I think there was a public disavowalment, right?
On your
There's
stream.
a public disavowalment after the intervention period. So you disavowed me after the public intervention, which I took from my perspective as a bridge burning, right? And then you went on now recording to call me all these names where you denigrate me in front of the commentary
51 minutes in, by the way.
What?
At 51 minutes in, right? You know what else I said about you on that same?
Give me the link.
I don't remember the exact timestamp. 51 minutes into the now recording podcast is when I say that I think you're inconsiderate and a bitch and an asshole, right? And I stand by that. I don't give a fuck. Like, yeah, I stand by that because it is inconsiderate that after I delivered to you 2 fucking W's and I warned you over months, multiple times, that if you continue to do this shit, that I can't be associated with you. After I got 2 fucking W's, you decide to turn them into L's? Yeah, that is inconsiderate. You think that only hurts you, Foodshops? That hurts me too. That makes me look like a fucking idiot. Yeah,
okay,
absolutely. I stand by that. I don't give a fuck.
Can we talk about the W's part? Okay, is there a part of you that views that, because I bet anybody looking at it from the outside could see in broad daylight the hypocrisy of counterpoints in that scenario, right? The hypocrisy of Wick, right? They were obviously placed already in a bad position after they took the L where Brianna Wu and Wick were on the panel alongside with counterpoints where they were smack talking me. I took the W there, sure, but then you decided to ride off of my W in order to secure content for yourself.
Do you think that first off, securing content? No, because I found it a violation of my principles. Secondly, do you think that me going in and arguing with not only Wick, also Brianna, and counterpoints is on an equal level as you chilling in Wick's chat and not having to argue with anybody in the heat of the moment? Do you think that these are even levels of effort? Do you think that these are even levels of effort put in?
Why is friendship Foodshops like it was nothing?
Oh, okay, hold on. Oh my god.
Do you think that's even remotely like you
why,
know W for you? W would be forgotten.
Does does effort
Foodshops,
matter or
W,
is who
your
is right
W in
matter?
quotation marks, your W in quotation marks would have been forgotten the next day if I hadn't gone in and fucking wrecked people in those debates.
Okay, shouting does not net you any points, okay?
Oh, okay, shouting doesn't net you any points.
Okay. Okay. When in the hell does effort really matter in a situation, in a drama, whether who's right or wrong, especially when you inserted yourself into these situations where I didn't ask you of that in the first place?
You didn't ask me, but again, you benefited from it and you enjoyed it and you could have taken those W's and you could have been fine. But no, you wanted to ruin it not just for yourself, you wanted to ruin it for me too. And so I get to call you inconsiderate.
Okay, I'll tell you why we're going in circles.
I get to call you inconsiderate.
Because remember, the reason we're going in circles now is because when somebody gives you a gift, right? They're gonna feel gracious about it, right? I felt grateful that you went up there and defended me, right? But just because you did something like that of your own accord, where I didn't ask a favor of you, doesn't mean that you go on now recording to denigrate me like that. Does that make sense?
Here's the thing. I don't regret you. I don't regret making the arguments that I did, right? I still stand by those arguments because those were violations of principles that I held. But yeah, you know what? You don't have to think about my public image. You don't have to think about what's considerate to me. You're right about that. But I also,
no. We need to go back to the first point.
Yeah, look, this is the thing. And this is the thing that keeps happening, okay? I've seen this happen maybe 10 times over the last year. And this is fucking obnoxious, dude. Where you have somebody who's very much like, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to get you to understand. I'm giving you advice. You need to care about the optics. You need to care about your career. And then when you say, no thanks, they say,
I'm going to fucking help burn down your career then. Like, wait, what the fuck? Just a second ago, you were like super worried about me and super worried about my career and super like trying to help me and all of that. And I'm just saying, like, okay, I get you. I'm not interested, but thank you. And you're so offended by that that you're going to turn around and make sure that that my career is hurt now. You're going to turn around and do your very best to fuck up my career. I've seen this happen over and over and over and over, where it's like, I have trouble believing that you actually cared about their career. And I'm not saying this about Stardust specifically, because I haven't seen what she said on that panel. So I'm just taking like characterizations here and then talking about this more broadly, because again, I haven't seen what Stardust said. So I'm not really commenting on that unless this is what she did. But this is a thing that just repeatedly happens, where they have the like very preachy, I'm here for you, I'm just trying to help you, you need to hear me and understand. And then you're like, okay, yeah, like I get it. Just I have a different opinion. We differ on this. And they're like, fine then. Burn your career down myself. Wait, what happened? Like, this is very different.
You made, okay? Before we move on, all right? So specifically in that first point, where you say something along the lines of, okay, like, oh yeah, it's a violation of my own principles. Thank God I took Adderall, okay? Where it's a violation of my own principles. Do you also realize that if you say that it's a violation of your own principles, you don't get to use that?
When people are clearly upset about how things worked out, but also want to maintain they regret nothing, I call them full of shit. So it depends. Like, if they don't like how things worked out, but also they don't think they did anything wrong, and that, like, if they, so like, let's say Foodshops looks back at those panels and she says, yeah, I regret nothing. I'm cool with all of that. But also, I was really stressed out afterwards, got a lot of hate, had like tons of people dogpiling me and talking shit about me afterwards. That hurt, and I was like really upset about it. But I would go back and do it again. To me, that would make perfect sense. That she's sitting there just like, yeah, it hurt for a while, and that sucked. And a bunch of people did things that I wish they didn't do. And people reacted poorly, and this is, this has been like a detriment to our friendships, and now I'm just not friends with these people anymore. But I'm glad I found out who they are. It hurt. It sucked. It was hard. But I'm glad that we're not friends anymore, and that I figured out who those people are. Like, yeah, you can kind of like not be happy that you got fucked over. You can not be happy that you had to go through the hard part. You can not be happy that you had to hurt in that way. But also be willing to do it again and say, yeah, I do it exactly the same. Tomfoolery show, it's because they're hiding, in my opinion. They have an issue with what you're doing and want to change you to better fit their image of you and take your dismissal as an attack on their character. Right, which I don't say this lightly, because I can think of like a ton of friends that I have had advice for. The Foodshops is one where I had the same advice as everybody else. I might have been the first person to say, hey, yeah, maybe just don't talk about this stuff. But I don't take it personally if she doesn't take my advice, unless she asks for it. But that's about it. And same with tons of other streamers, is I've had them on and said, hey, yeah, I don't really agree with this. I think this is a little out there. That's something else. You might want to rethink that one. And they're like, oh yeah, no, I know. Like, we'll have an argument. To me, they make absolutely no sense. They sound out of their fucking minds. But then they go right back to doing it again. I think at the time I got through to them. But then, yeah, they just go right back to doing it again. It's like, oh, that's their choice, whatever. But just like I've been through this so many times to where like I know how I react in these situations. So I'm not so far removed from this where I'm just looking at it from like an insanely biased perspective because yeah, I feel like I've been on both sides of this and from the outside perspective watching it with other people. And I feel like I've been like consistent with how people do this over and over. And I think the food shops situation, especially back then, was very similar where people were like, oh yeah, I don't really like have a moral issue, an optics issue, and therefore I can't associate with you anymore. When I felt like at the same time they were doing the opposite, or like saying like, yes, I want to help you, I want to help your career, I want to do this, and then they talk shit, right? Then they talk shit about them and help, like, and then they milk them and they try to milk the drama and they keep putting out videos of look how bad they look at the optics, look how bad the optics are. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it seems like a beneficial thing most of the time. It seems like it's about like when it benefits me, I'm helpful to you. And then as soon as like optics are bad, even though I don't think you've changed as a person, I still think you're the same person with the same principles, but optically you look bad. Well, now it's really beneficial for me to shit on you. It's really beneficial for me to go and, oh, she's a pedophile. Did you see this clip? Let me play this clip 10 more times. And just kind of jump on the bandwagon.
As a weapon against me right now?
Yeah, absolutely I do, because again, you benefited from it.
Because
and
that
again,
should be independent. Then at that point, it should be independent.
You actually
me.
no, it's not independent because still I considered your public image, I considered your feelings, I considered all of these things when I went to bat, when I still did this, right? And I didn't have to do those things either. And I thought in a friendship, the way that a friendship works is that we are considerate of each other's feelings and considerate of each other's images, right? I thought that would be at least the bare minimum. I feel like that would be a bare minimum in a
I don't
friendship.
know why you're saying this. It has nothing to do with
What
that.
do you mean it has nothing to do with it? What do you mean it has nothing to do with it?
I'll tell you very simply. I'll tell you very simply, okay? You doing these debates was awesome, right? Yes. However, if it really is so important that you went on there because it was a violation of your own principles, you don't get to use that later on as a weapon against me.
Yes, I do.
Especially
Absolutely
in a later
do. Because I didn't need to even I didn't need to defend you. I certainly didn't need to defend you by name. I didn't have to bring up your name.
You don't get it. Wait, hold on. This is so funny.
You don't get it.
This is so funny. Wait, this is so funny.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
You're mad. I said a couple of mean things at the end of this conversation.
Say anything, and you're already talking again. Okay. Shut the hell up. Okay, Jesus. All right. So we have okay.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't even know if you agree to these definitions. I can't believe I have to go full like debate Rogan. Do you know the difference between a favor and a gift of your own accord? What is the difference between these two?
Can you repeat the question?
What is the difference between a favor and a gift?
A favor and a gift? I don't know what the difference is.
Okay, this explains everything. All right, you have
What's
no
the
idea how
difference?
much this explains. Okay,
explain to me what the difference is.
The difference is that if I'm asking you for a favor, you conduct that favor. So then I will go, you know what, you did this favor for me one time. I'll probably pay you back in the future, and I'll remember that because it's the honorable thing to do, right? Now, when it comes to a gift,
not necessarily, but
I think that when you're giving out a gift, right? When you're giving out a gift, I just don't think that you should be expecting a gift from them back. This is why so many people
I'm not expecting a gift. Wait,
this is why so many people hate Christmas. It's because they feel as though that they have to necessarily give gifts back.
This is completely not analogous at all. But okay.
It's not a trade. It's not a trade.
Food shops. I was not expecting a gift in return. A gift in return would be for you to I don't know.
I think Food Shops was saying the difference between a gift and a present.
Deliver a W for me at some point, right? What I'm asking, I'm not asking for a gift in return. What I'm asking, do you really think so? Asking for a gift, what I'm asking for is for you to have the decency.
Where's this W for you in return coming from? Where's that coming from? Where did we even say that?
If you're talking about the W's that I got as a gift, then the equivalent type of thing that you would do in return is give me a W. What I'm talking about is you don't fucking take.
No, not a W for a W. That Stardust keeps saying, I went to bat for you. I got you W's. and then you went and did this in return. So you are making it a W and a return, as though there should be some sort of return for your investment, or at least not a loss on your investment. Whereas, like, if I just give somebody a thing and I'm just saying, hey, here's a car, fucking run it into a lake if you want, like, whatever, it's yours now, not mine. Then that's like a very different sort of thing, right? So where Stardust is saying, now she's saying, well, no, those are my principles. I said what I said. Like, I still agree with those positions. I wouldn't change it. Stardust did the same thing where she came on here and was like, this person lied to me. I asked them questions about this thing and they lied to me. And I defended you. And now they lie to me? And I'm like, hold on, whoa. Like, I didn't ask you to do that. If you come and said, like, hey, I want your, like, personal business and details as, like, somebody who doesn't know you in return for this, I would have just said, yeah, don't do it. I don't agree to this. Like, these are not terms that I agree to. But, and so, yes, it is this, like, you guys remember when Foodshops kicked me off that panel and she stayed and talked to Resi, right? President Sunday and Resi, or President Sunday and me got kicked off the panel. And afterwards, Foodshops talked a lot of shit about me and said a bunch of stuff. And I came up here and I was like, dude, I'm kind of hurt by this. I rated her a lot. I promoted her a lot. I invited her onto panels with other big names. I jumped on her channel and would, like, send alerts in my stream or in my Discord. Hey, go watch Foodshops, or hey, I'm on Foodshops, come watch. And then I would just sit there and just not really say anything and just, like, bring in a bunch of viewers to help her out. And then she turned around and shit on me and said that we weren't cool and that I never, like, did anything to virtue signal to her that we were friends or anything. And people turned around and they were like, oh, okay, so you're saying, like, you expect her loyalty in return, or you expect something in return. And I was like, whoa, no, I didn't ask for anything in return, but I do expect her to not shit on me. And I do expect her to not say, he's never done anything to try to be friendly with me, or to try to help me, or to try to, or any of that. These are different. Expecting her not to do something is one thing. Expecting her to do something is another. And that I feel like this is just a misrepresentation of what actually happened with as much as I did. So, and again, this is all cleared up, so I'm not bringing this up to, like, stir up anything. I'm bringing this up to say, when you say, I'd expect you to not, shit on me or talk shit about me or try to hurt me, that's one thing, versus I expect you to come tell me something, or I expect you to change your content, or I expect you to, to go and do something very differently for your stream that actually has nothing to do with me. That's a return. Whereas the other one is like, I thought we were friends, and then it turned out we weren't, right? Different things.
You don't fucking take somebody's gifts that they gave you in Christmas and smash them up the next day or the same day. That's not doing a favor and returning a favor. That's getting a gift and then crushing somebody's gifts that they gave you.
Stardust. The whole
is it not rude if somebody
is not to expect a gift back every single time I give out a gift.
No, I'm
not one-to-one expecting a gift back.
I don't expect a gift back. I don't expect a W from you. What I'm saying is that the minimum that I expect from you is that you don't take the gifts that I gave you on Christmas and smash them up the same day in front of me.
So, this is so. Trib, where you're saying this is similar, the problem is that the thing that Foodshops did is not personal for Stardust. So if Stardust said, hey,
I did this, and then you went and talked shit about me afterwards, that would be different, because now Foodshops is like, I felt like we were like on the same page. I thought we were creating a bond. I felt like you saw that I was out here on the front lines, and I was doing it, and I thought this was like giving us a kinship and making us closer. And then instead, you went and shit on me afterwards and made fun of me and talked crap about my boyfriend and blah blah blah. Like, that's one thing. But if instead she says, you went and did something that I don't like, yeah, these are just insanely different things. The inconsiderate part is what I'm thinking of when Star is saying this. Yeah, but again, the problem is that it's not actually inconsiderate. This is like a very, very subjective view of what happened. And obviously I differ on this. Now, again, like what happened on Rezi's stream apparently was is the problem, but it's just not a personal thing for Stardust.
In front of everybody, in front of the whole family. That's the difference.
Again,
that's the bare minimum.
Again, there's a disconnect here, okay? And
That's
the disconnect is very apparent.
That's
The disconnect is very apparent from the fact that you need me to define for you the difference between a gift and a favor. That's ridiculous. That's bonkers.
Foodshops. I don't know how that was relevant at all, because again, I did not ask you for a gift in return. I just expected that you wouldn't smash the presents up.
Okay. You do realize that if I went ahead and made a bridge with you, and the fact that you now that every single time you get a W for me, that you expect me to get a W for you, I wouldn't have made a bridge in the first place.
You're missing the point.
I don't consider that a fair exchange.
You're missing the point. You're missing the point. You have completely gone past the point. Again, I am not expecting a W back in return from you. I am saying if I expected a gift.
You said it earlier.
No, it's not. Calm down and listen to me. Take a deep breath, Foodshops. I know that this is hard for you. Take a deep breath and exhale. Can we do it real quick? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, now listen to my words very carefully, okay? You are accusing me of expecting a gift in return for a gift. I am saying to you, if I actually expected a gift in return for a gift, I would ask you to get a W in my favor. What I'm saying is, I don't expect that from you. What I'm expecting is that you don't take the present I gave to you to harm yourself and to harm me in the process.
That's what
I want. That's all I wanted was for you to be somewhat considerate of the gift that I gave to you. I'm not asking for a gift in return. That is not a gift in return. That is a common courtesy.
Okay, just let me finish, okay? If it was the case that you reached out in private after you got these 2 W's off of respectfully Counterpoints and Wick, right? If you got these 2 W's off Counterpoints and Wick, and then you reached out to me in private saying, hey, by the way, I got these 2 W's for you. I expect 2 W's back. And then I agreed to that, then I am beholden to that. Does that make sense? I don't.
Yeah, but I didn't ask you for that.
This is so easy to understand. I just don't understand.
No, you are fucking retarded. I didn't ask that from you. I didn't say that to you. I didn't ask that from you, and I'm not asking that from you now.
Not?
What part of no, I am not. Foodshops. What are you not understanding about the fact? What part of me asking you to be just considerate is a gift in return? Just being considerate to somebody is a gift in return. What part of that is gift? That is not a gift. I'm asking you to not be a dick to me. What part?
She's saying be a dick to me. It's not unreasonable to expect normal people to act normal, whatever that means. Saying I went out and got you 2 W's in a row and you smashed them up like plates at a Greek wedding is just weird. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, she is saying you were a dick to me, as though this is a personal thing for her.
If me getting you a W is a gift, what part of you just having the common courtesy to not smash the gifts up and then use them to self-harm yourself and harm me too is a gift? That's not me asking you for a gift. That's asking me not to weaponize, whatever the fuck it is that we're arguing about against me and make me look bad in the fucking process. Or not even against me, against yourself, and then make me look bad in the process.
After these 2 W's, again, I can't believe I have to say this for the 50th time.
What part of you being considerate of me is a gift, Foodshops? What part? Can you explain to me how that's a gift?
You do realize that when you give gifts out, you're not necessarily expecting the gift in return. Otherwise, like,
I'm not expecting the gift in return.
This is like a semantic thing. I don't know why they keep like going back to the like if it's a gift or a present. It's not the. It doesn't really matter. The point is that Foodshops should say what I said, which is, yeah, if this is the deal, you're saying, hey, this is like an expectation that comes with my defense of you, then you should have told me ahead of time, because I would have told you I don't agree to this.
I'm asking you, Foodshops, I'm asking you to explain to me what part of me expecting you to not double down on the lowly shit the same day I got, not the same day, like the next day from when I got a W, how is that a gift? What part of that is you giving me a gift in return? That's not a gift. That is a common courtesy.
What the
That's
heck?
what I'm
You
saying.
literally just okay.
You're sleep deprived and you don't know what is coming out of my mouth right now.
Maybe I am. Maybe I am. Okay, but
so we're not having a productive conversation right now because you don't understand the difference between when I'm talking about a gift and when I'm talking about a common courtesy. Because again, me expecting somebody that I gave a Christmas gift to not take that Christmas gift and hurt themselves and hurt me as well, is not a gift. That is not a gift I'm expecting. That is not a gift. That is a common courtesy.
okay, let's just say that you argued Israel and Palestine really badly. Okay, let's just say you argued Israel and Palestine really badly, and then you look so bad that I decided, without telling you, to take on your the person who wrecked you, right? I took on the person who wrecked you. Okay, let's just say you're debating
and you get me a W.
You got obliterated by Loner Box. Okay, so I gave you a W,
sure.
right?
Okay.
Do I forbid you? Do I forbid you from talking about Israel and Palestine ever again?
I don't think this. So it would have to be something like, oh, Stardust, you talked about hating men, and then I went to bat for you in this hating man thing, right? And I got a W for you, right? Then you were like, okay, Stardust, you have to stop acting like a feminazi all the time, or you have to stop making these feminazi arguments, and making men scared. And I won't. Otherwise, I'm not going to associate with you anymore, right? And you said that to me like over the span of months, right? And I decided to double down and be like, no, I do want to send all men to concentration camps. I hate men, and I am starting a whatever, or what, I don't know. But if I went and I did that, yeah, it would be inconsiderate of me to do that to you.
Yeah, see, like, okay, let me give you guys a better example. I was talking about one day the fact that there was a drama, and I spent the entire day clearing up that drama. The whole day. I spent the whole day clearing up that drama. And while the chat kept saying, but Tom, the fucking optics, Tom. But Tom, think about the optics. I'm saying, well, who cares? We know the truth. So we shouldn't care about the optics. We're here to clear up the optics because we're just talking about the truth. That's why we're here going over all of the facts, is because the point is to say this is what's true at the end of the day, and that's all that matters. The fact that people think, well, it looks like something else might be happening, who cares? This isn't happening. That's what we know, and that's the end of it. End of story. Anything else is conspiracy theorism. Anything else is conjecture. And then that same person turns around, goes back to their stream, and then says, guess what, guys? I'm a fucking murderer. I murder people all the time, and then I have sex with their dead bodies. I do it all the time, and I love it. If they say that, and they just throw their entire career in the garbage after I just got finished spending the whole day making sure that people knew that they didn't do this other thing, I wouldn't give a fuck. I wouldn't give a fuck. Then I just cleared up the optics issue and cleared up the facts issue to make sure that their career was saved. And then they turn around and just fuck the whole thing up. I wouldn't give a fuck. Wouldn't care. And this literally happened recently, where I spent the whole day clearing up. I think it was 2 days, actually. 2 days clearing up some drama that people were very confused about and just making up a whole lot of shit on, right? But if instead that person turned around and then a couple days later, there was some drama with me, and they didn't focus on the facts, but instead focused on the optics, then I would be pissed. Then I would be mad. That would piss me off. Because this is something personal for me. This is something where I didn't treat them this way, but they're treating me this way. This is fucked up. Why? What the fuck? Why would you do this to me? That would piss me off, for sure. But if instead they just ran off and fucked up their whole career and threw it in the trash. Whatever. Your decision, your career, do what you want. I wouldn't care. One is personal for me. The other one is me saying, hey, I did all this work and then you threw it away. Well, I didn't really do work. I made content like figuring out the truth and the facts, and that's what I want to do. That's what I like to do. I made that decision to do that thing. So that's fine. I would respect that reciprocation if they had the chance, because it's a personal thing. But when it's not personal, yeah, it's just totally irrelevant to me. And that's how I feel like here is this time she's saying, hey, I went to bat for you, and then you threw your career in the trash. Okay, cool. But if instead she was like, hey, I went and did this thing for you, and then when you had the chance to do it for me, you did the opposite. That would make sense. That would make total sense why she would be upset about this.
Absolutely. That's not me giving you that's not me giving you a gift to not do that again. What me giving you a gift would, if you defended me after people thought that I was a feminazi, and you won the thing when people were treating me badly, and then I decided to take your W and turn it into an L by making myself look even worse and making you look like a fucking idiot for defending me.
Stardust, do you realize that just because, again, without me asking, again, without me giving any kind of asking for any favors from you, that if you got me W's, right? If you got me W's of your own accord, coming out of nowhere with it, again, I was as surprised as everybody else when it happened, right? That you're not entitled. You're not entitled to me either changing my opinion or shutting up permanently on a subject. You're not entitled to that. That's ridiculous.
I'm not entitled to it. I warned you over months that I would disassociate from you, and that I would have to, because I just can't be associated with it. I warned you over months, and that's fine. You can make the
Yes, but again, the disassociation. If you had said instead, hey, if you don't stop doing this, I'm going to start talking shit about you, that would make sense. But she's acting as though she said, hey, if you don't do this, or if you keep doing this, I'm going to go talk shit about you. I'm going to go, if you don't help your career, then I'm going to hurt it. Like, those are, I don't think, it doesn't sound like that's what was said. It sounds like instead she just said, yes, I'm going to disassociate for my own brand. But then instead didn't really didn't just disassociate, but also,
the choice that you made, right? But then I have the right, again, you just like you have the right to do what you did, I also have the right to go on and say, I think it's inconsiderate what she did to me, and yeah, I think she was being a bitch.
I honestly think we're just going in circles at this point. We're not going anywhere. Do you realize that?
Yeah, no, I know that. I've known that for like the last 5 minutes.
Okay, what part of me is exactly like before the now recording episode, okay? What part of me is bitchy? Before that.
Again, you being a bitch is you going on to double down after I told you, okay, I can't be associated with you if you do this, and after I'd gone, and gotten a couple of W's that ended up benefiting you, for you to, that is being bitchy. Yeah, if you are
that is such a stretch, and you know that. When people
No,
think
it's not.
the word
It's inconsiderate.
bitchy,
You're hurting my fucking image too when you do that shit. So yeah, I can call you a bitch if I want to. Are you really upset about me calling you a bitch? Is that what it is? Because that's like the least bad thing I could have called you, okay?
No, you have to remember.
So wait, is that all it was? Was she just said that she was a bitch? Which is still weird to say, I'm going to disassociate from you, and then turn around and call him a bitch. Like, a little weird. And you're hurting my image, and there it is. Yeah, that's right. She said she was a bitch, inconsiderate, and one other thing. Yeah, that's still very different from just disassociating. And well, it was on a stream she was invited on. Sure, it's just that we're not talking about her going on the stream as much as what was said, right? She never brought up the optics image thing in the now recording podcast. Okay. No, you're hurting your image, and by extension, my image, since it was really only me. And so that defended you. Yes, it is. I hurt my image by going and defending you. Which, I don't know if that's true either. Like, my positions on the stuff with food shops, those are my positions. the defense of her to me is not a thing. There's been numerous times that food shops have said, Tom saved my career. Tom flew in with his cape and saved my career. I don't view it that way at all. I don't see it that way, and I wouldn't say that because I don't know that that's true. One, and two, it wasn't this like virtuous thing that I was doing as much as it was a choice not to shit on her. Like, it was, the option was like, hey, just have a conversation and just ask questions and then move on, or ask questions, push her, shit on her, tell her she's an idiot, call her a pedophile. Like, that, those seemed like the two options. And yeah, I just went with I'll just ask some questions, let her answer, and kind of get some clarity on some shit. But I don't expect anything from that. Whatever food shops did from then on, no matter how many times I went and defended her afterwards, no matter how many times I went and made those arguments about Lolly, no matter how many times I went and said, like, hey, this is kind of unfair what people are doing to her, my image was not affected by anything that food shops did whatsoever. She goes and does her own thing. That's fine. Yeah, there's, as far as like streamers that I was friends with that were doing things I disagreed with, food shops was one of the least of them. There were almost all of these people had a ton of shit that they do, and the way that they cover things, and the type of content that they do, and like positions that they had that I was much more staunchly against and had way bigger issues with, that I wasn't going to make a big deal about either, and that I didn't think hurt my image or anything like that. And if it did, I would just stop talking to him and leave it at that.
Remember, you have to remember, this is specifically in the context after, like, you did a public kind of, like, you know, separation, right? If you don't want to call it a bridge burning, fine. We can call it a
separation. It wasn't a bridge burning, because again, I would have called you a PDF file if it were a bridge burning, but okay.
No, that's such a, why should you be able to pedal jacket somebody if you were to bridge burn with me? That's
I wouldn't.
Why is that the standard? It's crazy.
But I would say, again, you know, everybody else has done it, right? I still, to this day, refuse to do that to you. The worst that I did was after a 51-minute episode where I talked about you know, a friendship.
Why are you threatening me over, like, not calling me a pedophile?
I'm not
like,
calling. I'm not threatening
like,
you.
I might slip up, do something wrong, and you call me a pedophile.
No, food shops, I'm not threatening you. That is fucking crazy for you to think that. I've said I will not call you a PDF file unless you get fucking convicted by a fucking police station. I'm never going to do that to you.
But that is kind of the tone that you're saying. You're basically saying, yeah, but I haven't called you a pedophile, which kind of says to me that, like, at some point, like, if our bridge burns or something like that, or in the past or what, I don't even know at this point.
I don't know what food shop's talking about. To me, it sounds like it's like I would think that is saying, like, I think you're a pedophile, but I'm not going to say it out loud. Or it's, if I'm petty enough, I would call you a pedophile. But not what food shops is saying. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about.
You are going to go out and call me a pedophile on stream or something.
No, I'm not going to go out and call you one. The reason I'm saying...
Just watch the things that you're saying, right?
Wait. Fucking, dude, you are so fucking paranoid. You really are. That, like, I was not going to talk about you after the now recording episode.
Over somebody calling you a pedophile is, like, paranoid or not paranoid? Is this a reasonable amount of
paranoid?
Or
I'm not
this
going
irrational,
to,
like, kind of, like, paranoia here?
You
considering
have to,
how
you have to...
Considering
no,
what I went
through. It's not rational, because again, to this day, even after you insulted me on your stream, I still have not called you a PDF file, and I've told my chat I'm not going to. Okay, so it's not a threat. It's not something that you
wouldn't even call Mr. Girl a pedophile, so you don't really have that much of a, you know, kind of ledge to
no,
hang on to.
You can't make that argument.
Right?
You just can't make that argument when you just said you thought I was threatening you.
About
you claimed I was threatening you. What is wrong with you? Seriously? You claimed that I was threatening you, now you're saying, oh, well, you said that about Mr. Girl, so it's not really that big of a deal. Well, you just claimed I was going to threaten you.
No, you said,
just claimed it.
Okay. Is it true or is it not true that you said a bridge burning between me and you would specifically be, okay, that you said this twice now, or thrice, I don't know, that you would be calling me a pedophile, presumably on stream, saying that there is a limit in which you would say, oh yeah, I would call you a pedophile, and that is a bridge burning.
Yeah, because again, our bridge wasn't burned in my head, honestly.
In your head. Okay, all right, I got you.
But I mean, honestly, like, I don't know, it might be at this point, but I probably still won't call you a PDF file, you know, like, I mean, I won't, I know I won't, but, what I'm saying, okay, 51 minutes into this now recording episode is when I say that you're inconsiderate and a bitch and an asshole.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Well,
Okay.
have you thought about thinking about kids even more?
Now recording.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Now Recording. I'm Matt Pitt. With me today, I got Beckett. Beckett, I needed to talk to you about something.
Is that if she was able to drop the lowly stuff and reflect inwards, right, and really think about her actions with intention in the future, that she's not a talentless person. She does have talent. She is entertaining when she wants to be and when she can be, and she should have really worked on that, like her strengths. But I don't know why she had to continue on
she
with the
can't.
lowly stuff.
She's
Yeah.
Is
capable
she a
of not.
talented person, or is she just fucking retarded and it's occasionally
No, she
entertaining to watch
genuinely
a
is.
retarded person?
No.
it's
She
exactly that,
genuinely
Beckett.
is. She has strength. She wouldn't have had the amount of people like going to bat for her or defending her or trying to help her if she was not talented in some sort of way. I think everybody who saw that saw some sort of talent in her, right? But she's also a fucking idiot. And she's also fucking inconsiderate and just an asshole and a bitch. Like, yeah.
I
What
think,
it is.
aside from the lolly part, I think there's a lot of comparisons to Jalen in this situation. The way they.
Yeah, that just, I don't know. To me, that just sounds like shit talking. I'm not saying that to say that like Stardust did anything wrong by doing that. Obviously, if that's how she feels, like she's free to say it. I'm not saying Stardust did anything wrong here. I'm just saying that it makes sense that Foodshops is gonna feel like, is that throwing the first stone? Yes, that's what I'm saying. I think that is throwing the first stone. Yeah.
Kind of react.
Right? 51 minutes in.
All right, I got
But I mean, honestly, like I don't know, it might be at this point, but I probably still won't call you PDF file, like I mean, I won't. I know I won't. But what I'm saying, okay, 51 minutes into this now recording episode is when I say that you're inconsiderate and a bitch and an asshole. Right? 51 minutes in.
Sure.
And that's what you have an issue with?
No, you're how are you? Okay, dude, okay, all right. So the reason I have an issue with it, again, all right, is because you did a public disavowalment, yes? And then I didn't fire anything equivalent to that magnitude, which you agreed to at the beginning of this debate, right? And then at that point, which you have agreed to, that I have not done anything in like the same degree of magnitude before that now recording episode, between again, the public disavowalment and the now recording episode, you were the one who fired a flaming arrow of that magnitude first, yes?
So what I would say to that is words are not as big of a deal to me as actions, right? And if you had gone to bat for me and I decided to make myself and make you look bad in the process, then you would be entitled to call me a bitch on whatever podcast you wanted to call me a bitch on.
So you're a fat blob who is a failure of a content creator. Wow, it's
okay,
wow, words have no meaning. Words have no meaning. Is that
yeah,
how it works?
It has no meaning. Yeah, absolutely. In comparison to that, in comparison to actions, yeah. Me calling somebody a bitch is not nearly as bad as somebody wrecking their image and my image as well in the process.
Yeah, I think this conversation is over. Is there anything else you want to say?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, all right, see ya. All right, cool. Awesome. Bro. What the fuck was that, dude? What is happening? Damn, I think I need some time to process what the fuck just happened. That was fucking insane. That was fucking nutters. That was actually fucking insane. Like, it would have been so much better. It would have been so much better if only she just like admitted that, yeah, she fired the first shot and it was not good of her to do so. But instead she has to conflate that a response. Like, that I have fired the first shot by, like, in that time period. Like, dude, what? How are any of these equivalent?
Yeah, I think Stardust is allowed to feel the way that she wants to feel. It's just the way that she's rationalizing it doesn't make sense. So if she says, hey, look, I didn't like that you were doing this, and so I decided to turn on you and kind of, I yeah, I decided to turn on you and kind of burn the bridge. But instead, yeah, she was saying like, oh, I didn't think I burned the bridge. I was just calling you a bitch and an asshole and inconsiderate and all of this on a stream where people were there to call you a pedophile and talk shit about you, and I just threw a bunch more gasoline on the fire and added to it. Yeah, like I don't think there's anything like wrong there. Yeah, I would just own it and just say like, yeah, that's I was not happy with you. I I do think you're a bitch, and I decided to air it out publicly. It is what it is. Every time I think I like pushed too hard on this, sitting like this for too long, that now anytime I like move my arm a little bit, the funny bone pops.
Was talking about, but from a different angle. As most y'all probably know, I'm a conservative, right? So, like, it's interesting to me. Like, I'm not like a religious conservative, but when I'm seeing this, it feels like she read half of the book by Eric Bischoff, "Controversy Creates Cash," and she thinks that all conversation is drama and it's all good content, right? And it's not drama, really. Like, this is something that, like, say, if I wanted to use and I was like being a bad actor in the space, I could go to her content and I could take this and be like, look, these individuals are doing this. This is something they're pushing. They're constantly engaging in. Like, I could easily turn her stuff into propaganda. She's got a big enough audience for it to look credible. And this is something that's harmful to, like, I believe people with actual mental disorders and like people with I don't know if she doesn't have one or not, but
Substance
like
use disorder and stuff.
yeah, that have these like these things, or people that are like trans individuals or part of the LGBT group, because these are like conservative talking points within the religious community. And for food shops to sit here and just defend this and say basically that I don't stroke it's not child porn because I stroke to it, me and others that stroke to it don't consider it child porn like CP, then like that's just disingenuous. And like when you combine it with the fact that as far as I know they've never seen a real psychiatrist, and they're sitting there talking about finishing therapy, and anybody that's ever gone to therapy never, like, as you mentioned, knows it never finishes. I just it's a very harmful thing, and for them to say, oh, I'm engaging it in a better way and it's just fun for me, just really seems like a very bad actor take personally, but maybe that's just me, I don't know.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. So the take is
I guess I couldn't get like half of that out.
Because she's wrong, and this is what I'm taking it as. Because she's wrong, the amount that she is wrong is harmful to the movement of like what it is other people are trying to do. Normally in this case, so like I don't know, and this might seem like an extreme hypothetical or bad faith, and I'm not meaning for it to be, but this is the way that I'm like normally think about these things. When we're talking about like on this very abstract level, very zoomed out of like how you're affecting the ecosystem sort of thing. I don't normally like these sorts of arguments because we would first have to point out the problem on the individual level. So if we're saying, hey, food shops, look, you are totally wrong on these things. The things that you're saying are factually incorrect and are not backed up by any of the studies or the research. That is the problem, right? And that's the thing to zoom in on is, hey, you need to be more educated on what it is that you're saying, because currently what you're saying is just wrong. I think everybody agrees being wrong and putting out misinformation is going to be harmful in some sense. But if instead we say, you're not wrong, you're right, but the way you go about this is harmful, I think generally I'm going to just kind of be like, yeah, don't really care. Don't pay attention to that shit. Move on. So if we are saying, hey, look, the way that you talk about this stuff, especially you're a trans woman saying that you're a pedophile, and then as a pedophile, you're harming the way that people think about pedophiles. You're like, people are saying, hey, I'm like,
don't disavow the pedophile, but instead like disavow the child molestation, like don't stigmatize the person, stigmatize the actions, like those sorts of things. If you go out as a pedophile and then just make yourself look bad as an individual pedophile, and then people are saying, hey, you're looking bad as a pedophile, which is going to make other pedophiles look bad. You got to stop that. That sort of argument, bullshit. Fuck that shit. Like, if a black person is an idiot and everyone's like, oh, you're going to make black people look bad, you'd be like, fuck you. that's weak sauce. But again, if it's about the misinformation, everybody will agree that misinformation affects the overall like zeitgeist of something. And so you just zone in on the misinformation. Let's get this right. You're wrong on this. That's the problem. The problem is that you're incorrect. If I go to a Nazi and I say, hey, man, you're wrong on the Jews and you don't understand. You're actually really harming Jewish people by the way that you talk about this thing. Sorry, instead of saying you're wrong on the Jews, I just come and tell them, you're really harming Jewish people by the way you talk about the Holocaust. They're going to be like, fuck you. What? I don't care. What's wrong with you? Like, and I try to do this responsibly and give caveats, but if I come out and I start talking about 1350 and start talking about the fact that like, oh no, black people actually do commit crimes at a higher rate according to FBI statistics, and that like they actually do have more violent crimes more often. And then somebody comes, well, Tom, whoa, you can't mention that, dude. That's harmful to the black community. I'd be like, yeah, fuck you. I'm right. Like, if it's true, then like whatever you think the harm is, I don't care so much about. I can say this in a harmful way that's adding to the harm. So if all I do is just say, hey, black people are committing crimes at a higher rate, dude. Fucking black people, am I right? If I do that, well, okay, so now there's like a problem in how I'm presenting this because I'm obviously making it sound like black people are the problem, right? The way that I've said this clearly indicates black people are the problem, and I'm wrong that black people are the problem. So now the issue isn't that I mentioned 1350, because that's right. The problem is that I indicated that black people are the problem. That's wrong. So now we need to zone in on the fact that I think black people are the problem. But if instead you're just like, whoa, don't say that. That harms black people. Well, if I'm right, who cares? It doesn't matter. So yeah, so like the harm, the overall harm, I keep wanting to say the meta conversation, but that's not right. What word am I trying to think of? There's like meta, there's like the smaller conversation, and then there's the giga? Like what the what am I trying to think of? The like broader societal part. Micro and macro, you're right. That's what I'm thinking of. So yeah, so on the macro, it doesn't really matter. The effects of what I say doesn't matter all that much. What matters is, am I right? Like, I've talked about the fact that there's a lot of times that I'll like purposefully say things in the most hyperbolic way possible to get debates. That like I'm not an advocate. I'm not somebody out here like trying to change the world or anything. I'm I want to educate myself. I want to, you know, explore topics. I want to be challenged. I want to have interesting conversations. I want, yeah, you know, I want to learn more, and I want to enlighten myself, and I want to improve. If I start saying things in a very hyperbolic manner to go get debates so that I can have those conversations, and then somebody comes and they're like, whoa, dude, you're being a really bad advocate right now. Like, yeah, I'm not an advocate. That's not what I do here. Not my thing. Thanks. Not a good advocate, not a bad advocate, just not an advocate. So yeah, there's parts, and even Foodshops has done this before, where we were having a conversation about whether or not we can use the word Uncle Tom, right? And I was saying, I think the word Uncle Tom is racist and normally inaccurately applied, and that this is like a harmful thing in and of itself, because it starts to build inaccurate stereotypes that we want to get away from. And Foodshops came on and said, that doesn't matter. What matters is, what is the word Uncle Tom accomplishing in politics? It doesn't accomplish anything. So we should stop using it. I was like, what? Doesn't, well, none of us are in politics. Like, none of us are here talking about politics. That's not part of this conversation at all. You went and zoomed way too far out for this conversation here. We're having like a moral conversation on right and wrong and shit like that. And then you made it about like some broader utility thing that we were not discussing. Well, at least Tom siding with Foodshops is going to be fun for the drama. Hold on. What of what I said could possibly be interpreted as incorrect? Like, everything I'm saying is just correct. This has nothing to do with siding with Foodshops or siding with Stardust or any of that shit. It has to do with being right. You're not being a very good Muslim right now, Tom. You know what? You're right. I will immediately change the way that I talk about this topic. My bad.